things. I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
welcome back, everybody. Good to see you here. We are back with the panel with Ready to Love, Season 11, City of Detroit. This is the finale. How's everybody doing on the panel? How's everybody doing?
Everything's well.
All right, Sean. Sounds like things are well. What about you, Elsid?
We're a bit icy out here. I don't know how long I'll be on because we've lost power multiple times and internet service. But we here.
We here with the panel. We got Elsid. That's Elsid with her own channel. We've got, of course, always my favorite guy, Life is Reality, my co-host. We got Ron Freeman here today, ladies. For those of you that are asking and been asking, he is back. And then we've got Mr. Jaguar. Okay, guys. Mr. Jaguar, how are you doing? You kind of creeped in on us as we were going live.
I'm doing fine. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, can hear you very well.
I'm doing all right. Hope everybody's doing okay as well.
Yes. Guys, what do you think? Those of you guys that are in the States, what do you think about this this weather, this snowstorm, this freezing cold?
It's a temporary inconvenience for me. That's all.
Okay.
I'm good, though.
You good? Thank God. You know what I think about, Sean, when I woke up the last couple mornings? I just pray for the people that don't have anywhere to go, that are unhoused. I don't know. My heart just goes out to them. I could just picture it in my mind. Like how would you be able to be out here in this kind of cold temperature? Elsid, what's it like? You said it's things are kind of browning out where you are.
Yeah, starting at 2:00, we were on and off power, internet. Sometimes both. Only had internet back for the last probably hour and a half. So.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, guys. And I just want to say thank you for joining us. I pray that everybody that is in the sound of my voice, our voice, I pray that you're well, you're housed, you have heat. Obviously, if you're here, you probably have all those things, but just want to say that we are thinking about you and hope that everybody gets through this okay. Hopefully in the next couple of days, here in the States, we'll be back to normal. Okay. Okay, guys, what did you make of this finale? Were there any surprises? Elsid.
I'm surprised at how much crying we had. I mean, really. Why are we crying? And why are we lying to ourselves and the public? That's what I saw.
What?
I'm sorry.
I'm just looking at your comment for the first time. You said just like RTL, more men here than ladies. LOL. Okay. All right.
Did I lie?
Hey there. How's everybody? Felicia H. You gotta help me out. Give me the pronunciation of your first name. We know each other from way back, but I promise you, I feel like my eyes are playing tricks on me. So just give me the pronunciation, okay? And reality is life. Oh yeah, like the live on the way in. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys. So anyway, so what was I saying? I was asking you, what were the surprises for you? Ron, are you there yet? You kind of holding on. You got me on hold. Okay, that's fine. JR, what were the surprises? Any surprises for you?
Yeah, I was surprised we got 3 couples that actually made it to the end. Everybody had reservations about how it was going to pan out, who was going to, go forward into the next step, which is life off camera. But yeah, I was surprised at that. I wasn't surprised about Ashley choosing herself. She was like the odd one out. You had four ladies and three guys left at this stage. So, and she was friends vibes with everybody all the way up till the end. There was no romantic connections there. So I wasn't surprised about that. But the three couples at least making it to the final scene and saying that they're going to try to, uh, build on their connection, that was a pleasant surprise for me.
Okay, yeah, because we know you are romantic, you're optimistic, what do they call it? Romantic, hopeful, uh, always optimistic. What are you talking about over there, Sean? You
That's the
grinning? What's
British.
going on?
That's the British lover. I haven't been to church in a while, so in Aubrey Church. So
That's right. You haven't been here,
I'm the
brother.
prodigal son. I'm the prodigal son.
The prodigal son has returned. That's right. That is so true. That is so true. Mr. Jaguar, any thoughts? Was this any surprises for you, or did it pan out exactly the way you thought it would?
Surprises. Not that much. I mean, I knew Dom and Bella were going to make it to the end. I figured Vince and Donna would make it to the end. So I knew Dom and Bella was a lock for me. Vince and Donna was a lock for me. I kind of figured Darius would probably sway to Ashley instead of Ashante. So kind of. I wasn't really that surprised at the end. So not really in any way surprises to me.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, I was trying to figure out how they were going to do the surprise for me was how they were able to production was able to maneuver Ashante and the two men and their supposed deep connection that they had that they were going to let go of these other women that they had been seen with the whole season long. Yeah, that was a little surprising. I was looking to see how they did that, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it. Elsie, you had any thoughts on how they did with that?
They were just recycling a location. I'm sorry. It was the same location that Darius and Ashley did their thing. I knew it was unserious because he
Mhm,
showed up in jeans, okay, and patchwork chinchilla. I'm sorry.
mhm.
They could tell me what they want. This was just, filler, okay? And I didn't appreciate Bello trying to make us think, oh, he has such a hard decision to make, and it's the final two ladies. Oh, get out my face with that. Get out my face. Try to
Prob-
sell me the community in Canada over this foolishness.
What'd you say? Probably as hard as it was trying to figure out if he was going to go see his daughter again down in Miami.
Right. That's what you should be talking about, but we can't talk about that, of course. But
We No, we
I
can't
mean,
talk about
tell
that.
us that, but when the two men showed up at the same time, it was just, I appreciated the time saver of it all. She did not need to hear no from two men because she clearly knew it was the case. I'm just glad that it gave her the opportunity to say, I am not choosing the two of you. Go
Yeah.
on to the woman that is really in your heart.
Yeah, exactly. That I was proud of her for because she showed a lot of good judgment in that. I feel like showed a lot of good judgment. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig in here. Okay, uh, we've got Tommy welcoming everybody, and he says we're back to the way we started. We started together, and we're going to end this out together with all the singles that are still ready to love, right? And he basically kind of slides in and slides out. Basically, Tommy does, right? And then we get to uh oh, on the way in, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not. On the way in, we had Bello and Dominique who basically looked like they had matched up their outfits. Any thoughts on them matching up their outfits? El Cid, anybody wants to go?
That was a phone call. What are you wearing? I'm wearing this. What are you wearing? We never seen Bella with just that dapper, that flamboyant for the whole
Flamboyant,
season.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good point. Good
he's
point.
he's, he's more of a conservative dresser. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He does seem to be. LC, any thoughts? I know you do the fashion recap, so
She dressed him. She has been dressing him since at least I have seen since the retreat. They have been matching. Every time they're matching, I said, "Oh, she dressed him." Remember, she's a celebrity stylist. So, Dom, here's my thing: don't be giving away your services for free now. You are a celebrity stylist, and Bello is no celebrity. Okay.
yeah, true enough. True enough. That is so true. So we get a little bit of conversation going. I don't know if it was Dom who asked everyone whether or not they would do this process again or not if they had this opportunity. To which Darius says, "No, I would not. I would not." And then you got Vince over here saying, "Well, why not? Why not? Why wouldn't you do it?" Well, Darius says, I had these 10 beautiful women that I had to try to integrate and get to know and handle. And to which Vince says, "Well, wait a minute, but you didn't have to date all 10 of them. You didn't have to promise anything to any of them." And he and Darius go back and forth until Vince is like explaining something. And Darius goes and jumps over and says, "Well, Bella, why don't you tell us what you've got going on?" And Vince is like, "No, no, you hold up. I was talking." And the two of them are looking like they're almost about to get into an altercation of some sort that may be bumped up from verbal to maybe physical. Um, Bello wisely jumps in and says, "Hey guys, you know what? The thing I've been most proudest of is that we as men have been very respectful to one another. Let's keep it that way." What did you make of this scene, JR?
Mm, yeah, Vince was trying to get under Darius's skin, man. Uh, so it seemed like he was trying to insinuate that a lot of people were talking outside the lounges about what took place in the lounges, and he was trying to say that Darius is getting angry because like it seemed like it was him that was doing it, and Darius was trying to move on from that because he didn't want to be necessarily singled out for it when everybody else was doing it too. So there was a little back and forth, and Darius was trying to bring up examples of how Vince had been hating on him and talking behind his back. And I think some of that anger from Darius stems from not only Vince being annoying in general, but the fact that Ashley went and spoke to Vince about her and Darius's relationship. I think he's a bit salty about that too. So that may have contributed to his animosity at that particular time. But thankfully, it did get moved on, and no fisticuffs happened. Um, I was surprised that Ashley thought Darius was defending her in that situation. Don't know where she got that from. It looked like he was defending himself. But yeah, Vince is just showing that he can go off on anybody. Before, the narrative was that he only argues with women. Well, clearly he doesn't really care about who he argues with. He can argue in
No.
the room by himself if he wants to.
All right, let's get the rest of you guys in here. Mr. Jaguar, any thoughts on that scene? The two of the men going back and forth in this altercation.
Well, I don't think it was directly Vince just trying to piss Darius off. I think it was more about Vince sort of standing his ground because Darius has been, if you notice, he has this kind of loud, boisterous personality where he takes everything over. And I think Vince was like, "I'm still speaking. You're not gonna just disrespect me and just shuffle me to the side. So I'm gonna say what I have to say and get it out. And if you have a problem with that, we could take it further." But at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people will say, it probably mean We're lucky it didn't come to blows, but I don't think it would ever come to blows. Darius is a pretense guy. That's why he wears all these furs. He's a pretentious kind of guy. I think it's the way Jay-Z explained it. You know the type, loud as a motorbike, but won't bust a grape in a food fight. I don't
Right.
think Darius was as a guy who would be getting into a scrap with anybody. And besides, Vince is an ex-cop. He has training. He'd probably mop Darius. But in terms of the lounges, it looks like both sides had a lack of break. They had a breakdown because, as Tommy always says to both men and women, what happens in the lounge stays in the lounge. And it looks like both men and women did spill information that took place on that side, which was not a pleasant thing to see. It muddied the waters and it made things a lot harder than it needed to be.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I think that I'll take the opposite position of Jr. I think it
Okay.
was kind of basically for ratings, production influence, because the question was first, what are you surprised by anything that you heard about yourself that you did not suspect, and then the foodie call comment, you know, um, and then that leads into the talking between the lounges, what have you. And so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Ron is the only one that's on this panel that's been on the show, but I don't know whether it was production say, look, why don't you ask about this? Why don't you ask about that? What have you, to trying to kind of create some hype, what have you. But nevertheless, it's, I, I mean, unless it was cut out, I mean, I thought somebody was going to start throwing hands or something like that. I thought that's what, I know we weren't going to see that on TV, but we don't know what was cut out of the situation, or how long the conversation actually went on before it moved beyond that point.
Yeah, it looked like the rest of the singles there were becoming uncomfortable, especially the ladies. Like
Yeah.
this is a bit much. I'm glad Bello did jump in and say that and lighten the mood, because it takes
Mhm.
sometimes just someone speaking and taking authority over the situation to de-escalate it. And you would have thought that Vince, having been a Detroit police officer for over 10 years, you would have thought that he would know how to de-escalate things.
Detroit, please don't de-escalate.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I was I had a little sarcasm in there dripping on my voice. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but I thought that was interesting. Like, why is he going there? It's like, it seemed like a very personal thing to me. Uh, Ron, you don't happen to have any inside tea on that?
Not well, like I said, I'm a person that whole what stays in the lounge, that rule, that's a production rule. That's not a cast rule. Production does that so they can control narratives. They don't, you know what I mean? We can't have a lot of gotcha moments or surprises if everybody got all the information. And as a castmate, we don't have none of the information. We don't see none of the dates. We're seeing this for the first time. It's like you guys are seeing it for the first time. So the more information that we get from other castmates, from the lounge, stuff like that, just overly prepares them, which is good for us. And it's actually good for the relationships, but it's bad for production because, man, they have to work harder to,
Oh,
get different scenes and stuff down. So that's why the rule got in place. So I hate when they try to make somebody look messy or something like that by saying what's in. We all gonna tell what's in the lounge. You know what I mean? You're talking to people on the phone
right.
2-3 hours a day. You're gonna get information now. Now I think in that situation, you know what I mean? You gonna hear little rumors here and there. You're gonna hear it from production staff. They're gonna come up there and be like, to Darius, hey, such and said certain things about you and stuff. Sometimes you might want to be cool. You know what I mean? They do that type of
Mhm.
those little games and tricks and stuff like that. You befriend the production and then they spill you some tea.
Uh-oh.
Some could be true,
Tea.
some cannot be true. So it don't
Uh-oh.
necessarily come from us, the castmates. Sometimes it comes directly from production itself.
Oh.
Uh, what they're saying and things of that nature. So Darius probably had a chip on his shoulder already, and he announced it out. Um, Ain't nobody backing down. So yeah, it could have turned to something. One of the comments was true on there. We don't got no security on there. So Bella would have been breaking it up by himself.
Oh, for real? I was thinking when
Oh,
they
ain't no
said that,
it.
I was like, they got security. Is that
Nah,
just for
it wasn't no,
that's just for the
no security.
reunion? Security is just for the reunion?
Yeah. Security. It was more security on a reunion. But on regular dates and stuff like that, nah, we don't got enough staff to have full security on all. It's a budget.
Oh yeah, I forgot the budget. We gotta mind that budget.
Yeah, they'll come in and try to escalate it down and let you know, yo, you don't want to be fighting and doing this on camera. You know what I mean? It's gonna make you look bad. They'll escalate it down, de-escalate it that way. But there ain't nobody pulling nobody off nobody.
Okay. I don't know, Bello and them orthopedic shoes of his. I'm not making fun. I promise you I'm not making fun. But I don't know if he would have jumped in there. Sean, I can't help it. I can't help it. Y'all gonna see when we get to the scene on the bridge in the park, around the way on the
See, you
rooftop.
got
Y'all
bad,
gonna see them
bad
shoes.
feet. You got bad
Look,
feet.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he had a bad corn that week. I can't say. We don't really know. But so in the next scene, we're gonna move forward. The next scene we've got Dom, and she's invited her parents. She's very attractive parents that both came out, her mom and her dad. I can see the resemblance in her family too. Very nice looking parents. And she proceeds to tell her dad that Bello is in fact Muslim. And this is the part of the reaction that you got from her dad. You can see his eyes is like, say what now? You say what again? He's what? You do realize I'm a Christian pastor. Okay. All right. So we get Bello. He comes in, always, dapper looking. They go for the hug. And he's says, pleased to meet you. The mom wants to know where he's from. He says, well, I was born in Toronto. My parents are from Nigeria. And that type of thing. And then the father immediately says, nice to meet you. And by the way, I understand that you're Muslim. And he says, yes, I am. He says, well, I kind of take issue with that. And he proceeds to ask Bello questions regarding his religion, his feelings about religion and about Christianity and so forth. And we see in the confessional, Bello says, well, I hope he asked me all the questions that he wanted to ask me. And the mother kind of softens things by saying, well, we're all just trying to live the best life and be the best version of ourselves. And he said, yeah, that's right. And she said, yeah, because there's only one person that's ever done that. And we know that's JC, right? And so he says, nice to meet you. I hope we get to do this dinner thing again, but I've got to go. I've got these condominiums to build over in Canada. What did you make of this scene, Ron? What did you make of him meeting her mom and dad?
Like I said, I thought the same thing you thought. The dad was kind of concerned. The mom, what mothers do, they come in there to smooth it out. The religion is going to be a situation. Like I said, I'm honorary Nigerian in Houston. All my friends, my car lot I own is with Nigeria and stuff like that. And when they pick a religion, they're very particular about that religion. And it really comes from their parents. So if you thought her dad being a pastor was a stickler on the Christian religion, imagine how stickler his parents are going to be on the Muslim. Because like I said, my best friend Jonathan in Nigeria, it broke up his engagement. We went to Turks and Caicos and got the engagement on film and everything like that. And then when she went to his house to meet his dad for the first time, the Nigerian dad. He's Jehovah's Witness and theirs, and they take. I said the Nigerians take their religion very serious. She thought she thought she was going to meet him for the first time behind and by. He cut out all the lights in the house and had a converter there and said, hey, I want to accept you to the family, stuff like that. You just have to convert your Christianity to Jehovah's Witness right now on the spot. We got a person here that's going to teach you and stuff like that.
That was ready. It was like an intervention.
It was intervention, and my boy gets sat there because in their culture you can't go against the father. So she looked at him like, you was gonna let him do me like this, and you ain't gonna stick up for me, and that broke up the marriage. I mean the engagement. So,
oh my
God,
I've
seen it in. Like I said, I'm very familiar with Nigerians. I've seen it on the other side. They don't play. So if she ain't thinking about converting to Muslim, it could be a problem on his side with his parents. On top of her dad ain't gonna play that, and you ain't gonna force my daughter or convince her to do anything against my will, and I'm the father, and I done raised her all these years, so it could be a real big clash with that religion thing. With, like I said, 'cause they're going full on. Her dad's a pastor. He believes in it fully. The Muslim Nigerians believe in that fully, especially from the parents up. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's funny how we all can, and I mean this whatever religion you are, people pick and choose things from their religion that they want to operate by, and then other things they toss to the side because also, well, he's Muslim, but why is he so unserious about his seed? Like, how is he out here making babies with one night stands, but yet he's a devout Muslim? I don't understand. I really don't understand. But JR, any
He didn't
thoughts?
read
Any
his
thoughts?
Quran that week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sean.
And I was saying he didn't read his Quran that week. He had a weak moment. He didn't read his
Weak
Quran.
moment. Right, right, right. And like I said, well, none of us are perfect, but I'm just saying. I'm just asking for a friend. JR, any thoughts on the date with Dominique's parents and Bello?
Yeah, the date, boy. The father has valid concerns, obviously, as Ron explained. I definitely agree with that. Yes, and the Muslim faith is very strict in aspects too. I don't know how much Bello practices his faith. On the one hand, in this episode, he was saying that, how much he strongly practices, but on the other hand, there are certain things that he probably isn't doing. But again, just like anybody, I'm sure Dominique holds her faith very key to her decision-making skills, and she lives her life according to what she wants to pick and choose as well. So I'm not sure if they can actually survive long term in a relationship off the show, because as we know, Bella already has a child, a fairly young child, and Dominique's got children, but they're older, and she's been married for 20 plus years or something previously as well. So I'm not sure how they figure all of that out, especially because Bello still wants to have another child, at least a son.
Yeah,
And we
he
know
wants
that.
his son. Yes.
Right. So I think there's plenty of things that when we, if I was in Dominique's dad's shoes, I wouldn't be too thrilled about this particular connection. But she said she's going to do what she wants anyway. She's going to defy whatever her parents' judgments are about Bello. She's going to go with it anyway. So anything after that is on her and on Bello, whether they can make it work. But I don't think that it's going to be a successful relationship, even though they made it to the end.
Okay. Thank you for that. Sean, you said something, Mr. Jaguar. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts. It felt, I don't think Dom did anybody any favors there. It's uh like a teenage girl who has a crush on like a bad boy and try to sneak him into meeting the parents, because I don't understand why, if you knew he was Muslim, and not just that he was Muslim, but his father's an imam and you're Christian and your father's a pastor, that you would say that like right just a few seconds before they met, because she walked right up and said, "Oh yeah, he's Muslim." So she didn't do anybody any favors there. She should have said that from the beginning, both sides, like at the start of this process. Like, Dad, I met this guy. He's um he's into me. I'm into him, but he's Muslim. And she should have told Bello the same thing. My dad is a Christian, so it may be, you know, maybe a little rough going at first, but she basically set both sides up for failure there. So that wasn't mature or smart on her part. Um, I do have to agree with JR there. I'm not sure about. I had to call into question Bello's pursuit of being in Islam, because I mean he said his father's an imam, but I mean he had a one night stand with a woman who got pregnant and gave him a child, and it looks, at least I'm not sure if it is in fact what he was drinking, but it looks at some points during the process that he was drinking alcohol as well, which you're not supposed to do in Islam. So I don't know what his real story is. Um, it does look like from the clip that we saw for the reunion that they're not together, which is what I predicted. I didn't think Bello and Tom would. I predicted they'd make it to the end of the show, but they wouldn't last all the way afterwards. And as I said, for me, when we get to the reunion and Tommy asks them why they're not together, it'll most likely be because of children and religion. So that's what I think about that.
Mm, okay.
I want to make
Um,
one quick comment just to kind
go
of
ahead.
clear Bello a little bit.
Mhm.
Let's not act like just because we see the nice parents and we see the father as the pastor of the church and stuff like that.
Yes.
Her dating record of marriage and guys have been NBA, NFL players. One of them I went to school. I played in championship games where I know them. That Bello is a saint compared to some of the guys she's married and brought home compared to how they handle themselves in the streets and things of that nature. So that dad's been through the gauntlet already. So this
Oh.
ain't, yeah,
Oh.
them having that one kid and him being a mother man ain't nothing compared to you being with NFL player, NBA players that been with thousands of women. You know what I mean? All up, messy up in the, doing all kind of stuff. So this ain't no new. Oh my God, how dare you bring this guy here? No, you brought guys like this before, way more, way worse. Bellows a
Mm.
saint compared to some of the past stuff.
Oh, you know what? I almost forgot about that. Thank you for that reminder, Ron. Good point. Good point. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, we've got Ashley and her brother, and she says she wants her brother to help her make a final decision. She's not really sure. She's having some second thoughts about Darius. Darius comes in, gives her a hug, and lets us know that she looks delectable, right? And she did. She looked very beautiful, as always. Um, they sit and chat, and everything goes well until we get to, well, are some of the problems, or what are some of the things that you run across that are stumbling blocks? And Darius has to say communication. And then he proceeds to talk about that communication is like a giraffe to, what was the other animal, JR?
A turtle. A turtle.
A turtle. Thank you, Sean. A giraffe to
Mhm.
a turtle to a giraffe, and he's going on and on and on about that. Uh, while meanwhile, Ashley looks like she's getting more upset and more upset and more annoyed. Like, why are you talking about this communication issue? You the one with the communication issue. I done already told you what it is. And it's almost like we don't see her neck roll, but I'm expecting it to roll in any moment. Okay. What did you make of this, Sean? What did you make of him getting to know the brother and so forth?
I, I mean, I wish I would have known how old the brother is. I mean, that's not germane to the show, but I mean, if Ashley is what, 30, 31 at this time, and then she said her younger brother, how much younger is she than he than she? But I think the brother was really holding back really how he felt about Darius. He did not want to. I think he was like feeling that, okay, it's your decision. I'm going to trust your decision. So I'm going to reserve a lot of my comments, that what I really want to say. So I think he really wanted to say more than that in action from what I've seen.
Mm, okay. Okay. Yeah, because the brother, he did. I agree with you on that, Sean. He did seem to kind of defer. I think, do you feel like maybe, Sean, it's because that no one wants to really pick for you or say nay, and then you end up blaming them for the rest of, your life, that, hey, you ruined my one true love or something crazy like that?
Yeah, it's true. Because Ashley had said how she was the black sheep of the family, and all this trauma could have come up, and if he had come out as forceful as he wanted, I think he wanted to be, but I think he just held back some. You know.
Anyone else? Anything else we want to say about this scene before we move on?
Yeah,
I
the
would say,
brother, the brother just wasn't feeling Darius. You could tell. Like from the moment
Yeah,
Ashley sat
definitely.
down with, when Ashley sat down with the brother, like you could tell by the look on his face, he weren't too enthusiastic about what she got going on right now. And then when Darius came into the room, attempt to shake his hand, it was very nonchalant. So,
How you doing,
I,
young man?
I, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, he
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah. So I think he was just pretty much over it already. He wasn't too impressed, but it was still cordial. He's still respectful, whatever. But I don't think he sees Darius as a good match for Ashley.
Mm-mm. Oh, and one other thing before we move on, I thought it was kind of funny. I wanted to get your opinion too, on you guys on the panel. I thought it was so funny that Darius said, normally he doesn't mind, but because they were at Slow's Barbecue, which is a landmark in Detroit, they have this dry rub on their barbecue rather than the sauce. So in case you guys have ever tried that, something like that. But anyway, he said, she was all in his plate getting his barbecue brisket, and he said he was a little perturbed about that. what did you make of
Food girl.
Huh?
I said, them food girls, man. That's the new wave. That young,
That's it.
that
She's
young
the
date.
foodie call, isn't she? They call her the foodie call.
No, I thought that was the other one. I thought that was Ashley. That was the foodie call.
That was Ashley.
This is Ashley.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Ashley.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm always going back and forth between Ashley and Ashanti. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, listen, red flag. You're not going to be picking off
Red
my
flag.
plate like that.
Wait, which was the red flag? Her picking the food off of his plate or him?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, those
That's
Super
bad.
red flag. Super red flag. I'd run.
Yeah.
What? Why is it a red flag? That's her
Because you got your
thing.
own food. No, you got
It
your
ain't no
own
boo
food.
thing. Yeah, get your own. I'm a 200 plus pound man and stuff. I can't eat.
Okay, I got a different take, y'all. I am with you. Don't take food.
Estrogen on the panel. Go ahead.
Don't take food off my plate. But that is my husband. When we met, that was him. Oh, let me try that and reaching over, and we have dueled with utensils about what you're not going to do. I have no problem sharing. Ask.
Right.
Mhm.
Ask.
That's
Ask
it.
kindly. Ask. Just ask. Don't just grab. But his thing is, where two become one, it is ours, and that don't fly with me.
No.
Okay?
Me,
Don't
hey, I'm old school. When it comes to the food, my plate is my plate. If I want something from your plate and I'm paying for it, that's my plate too. I'm the man. You go. What happened to the women used to eat a salad and try to keep their figure and stuff like that? These women be eating more than the men these days. I'll be in there mug brunch, dinner. You date the girl I used to date back in the day. She was always hungry. Oh my God!
Let me ask
I
then,
could
Ron.
guess what she want to do. Are you hungry? Yes.
So if she cooks a meal and gives you a plate, Ron, then that's her food as well?
No, I'll probably pay for the food that's going on the plate.
No. You said if you paid. I'm saying if she cooked for you.
If she's at her house.
Well, did he pay for the ingredients, Elsie?
Yes,
it's not really. It's not necessarily about the who paid for it. I'm the man. She's the female. If she made some food and I didn't finish it at the house, she should wrap it up for me. Make sure I got lunch for the morning. Making sure your man eats is
the scraps.
big.
Oh,
yeah, because I'm a 200 plus pound man. I gotta have energy to protect you.
Then that means you got 200 plus of brown fat that you could live off of.
Yeah, but listen, that's only if she can cook in the first place. We're assuming that women can cook. No, women don't want to be in the kitchen and know how.
Then he wouldn't be eating if she couldn't cook.
He wouldn't be there. He would be eating because sometimes the guy's actually the better cook. But yeah, exactly. We live in modern times now. The roles have somewhat reversed. So let's have that out there.
Women used to have some etiquette at there. These women now eat the ribs with the sauce and stuff on the first date. They want, they're eating like men on the first date. Get it. Let that man eat. He's a grown man. Get the salad.
So
get the chicken, the salmon, something nice and healthy. Let him know that, you ain't greedy.
But she can't eat how she wants. Got it.
No, she can. She can. Listen, when you get presented the menu, right? When you get presented the menu, you can see everything that's available that might, you get me, that might make you want to have some of it or try it for the first time or whatever. Now, if you've already selected what you want to eat, and then my plate comes, your plate comes, and then you start fixating on what I'm eating, and then you're taking bits of brisket and all the things that I've ordered off my plate. Now we got a problem. You shouldn't want to have what I have just because I have it.
And that's
You had,
exactly what I told my husband. Okay, that's exactly what I told him when
yeah,
we
that's
were
why you were
dating.
sword fighting with the cutlery.
There you go.
Hey,
And
I
it
think it's
didn't put
very
him off.
feminine for a woman to order a certain way at dinner on purpose, especially on the first couple of dates, to let her know that, to let the man know that I don't eat like a man. That,
But
I don't
I'm
want the
grown.
steak and lobster too. Like, I'm not gonna eat a whole 20-ounce steak and waste. You know what I mean? Certain ways you do things as a female, show your feminine side when you're going on a dinner date. It's some etiquette that goes with it, and
But
I
I'm a
haven't
grown
seen it in a
woman.
while. No,
Ron,
you're a modern woman. You're
I got a question for you. Does it ever occur to you why you use the term man, but yet you use the term female instead of woman? I'm curious.
nah. There's no. I can switch it up.
Continue
I did the
on.
female to match with feminine. Female, feminine, kind of the same wave of the world. Where women are trying to. I hope women are trying to show their femininity on a first date and show that type of etiquette. That's why you're dressing nice and you're wearing your makeup and you got your good wig on and you got your good all that stuff.
Right.
And yeah, don't mess it up by licking your fingers and eating a baseball steak with this guy. Wait, they're taking food off his plate and you know what I mean? And that type of stuff. And then, and let's say if it's some to-go stuff, he paid for it, but you're not even letting him leave home with it to go so he can have a little late night snack or lunch in the morning. You taking it home to your kid or you know what I mean? Like, or you want to eat it later or something like that. All this stuff is just bad etiquette. And it red flags to guys these days. They're paying attention to that type of stuff. They really are.
But I thought you bought the meal for her. So you're saying
I
the
bought the
rest
meal
of the
for the
meal
date.
is yours too.
No.
I bought the meal for the date.
You want
This
my
is the
leftovers, Ron? Wait a
No.
minute now. If I order that big porterhouse steak, I'm telling you, I'm going home with something. Trust
Right.
and believe
why
that.
you came here for the date.
And
Yeah.
the
Man, eat.
porterhouse.
You
No,
like,
but
I'll eat me a little snack later. I don't want to eat nothing real heavy for bed because I'm working on my figure because I'm a woman. And let that man eat the steak and the leftovers and stuff over there. Let that grown man get feed them 200 pounds so he can protect me if something goes down. You know what I mean? Like, y'all ain't thinking about big picture.
and also it wasn't mutual. Why does she want to have her own food and then still pick off his plate and have some of his too? It wasn't like she was offering to share and say, here, take some of mine and I can have some of yours. It wasn't anything like that. She's got her own food and she's eating off of his plate, and that's too much. I'm sorry, I
word is
don't
greedy.
no one picking off my food like that.
Greedy. She's
Yeah,
greedy.
that's greedy. Definitely. You got your own food and you want mine as well. No, that's
I
greedy.
will tell my husband that later, that he greedy.
And he's a man. He could be greedy, but
No, he can't.
it's
He
food.
greedy. He greedy.
But tell him, just make sure you got the cutlery ready to have your jewel again, your sword fight.
Hey, I'm gonna just clip this and say, hey, honey, you greedy.
Yeah, but
I remember
listen,
my
and also,
my boy Devon, he told his wife she was eating too much of the plate. We were all in a group at dinner, and he said, "Look here, I'm the only person in this relationship that can have a belly. So you stop, put that fork down."
Good Lord, so
Oh, you better not tell me that in public, because a whole lot of other stuff, because that's really hitting just above the belt.
And you
no,
got right.
hey, depends how low the belly's hanging.
Right, Elsie?
It depends how low the belly's hanging. The belly might hang below the belt.
Hey, however it is, that is not protecting your wife or your girlfriend by saying something like that, especially in front of company now.
Right, and it's not protecting your man by picking off your plate and eating his food while you got your own in front of your relatives too. I'm trying to make a good impression here.
Well, that's also pushing his buttons. Is he going to allow me to behave in a particular way in front of my brother? What are you going to say? What can he say? Her brother is sitting right there.
Man, what is his brother gonna do? What is her brother gonna do? Nothing. But I'm saying he allowed it. He did find the jovial side. But me, nah, man. I'll be like, no. You had your chance to order your food.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve for guys.
That's yours, and this is mine.
I'll buy you half of the menu if you need it, but don't pick off
Exactly.
my food. Tell
You
me
want me
what
to
you want.
order you some brisket for your plate? Okay, I can do that, but don't eat off my plate though. No, ruining
So
my
what about
event.
Can she ask?
drinks? What
Can
about
she?
drinks? Y'all sharing drinks too?
Oh yeah, that's a
No,
good point.
No, get your own
if she
drink.
reaches over and puts her straw in my cup to try and drink some of my drink, even though she's got her own drink, it's the
What you
same
gonna
principle.
do?
What am I
I'm
going
gonna
to do?
ask her, do you
That's a
want a
red
drink?
flag. Yeah, I'll be like, do you want your own one? Why are you drinking from mine? It's different if I offer it to her, but you're not just going to brazenly, go from sipping your drink and be like, oh, I want to try that too, and start drinking, necking back my drink. That's crazy.
God,
That's crazy.
When men are ordering something, we think in our head, we order off hunger. It ain't off the taste like women do. It ain't off greed. We look at it and say, this is enough food that I'm about to order here to fill me up. Because I'm a man, I need fuel. So if I got enough in my head, I'm looking at this plate and this is enough to fill me up, and you
right?
take 1/4 of it, now I'm gonna finish my meal and be still a little hungry. And now I feel like I wasted coming here, I wasted a meal, I wasted this and that because I had just enough food in my head to be full when I was done. You messed that up. Reaching over my plate.
See, that is exactly what I tell Mr. L. Said, this is exactly how much I made for me. Don't be coming in my plate.
Now you know what? Felicia has a good point. She say, "Y'all sound so rigid. Just everybody don't want nobody to have none of their brisket, none of their good drinks. Like, wait a minute. I thought we trying to get to know each other on this date.
Yeah, you're trying to get to know my food more than you're trying to get to know me, though. That's why they call you a foodie call.
The
That's beside
greed.
It's
American
also
greed.
called
the point.
politeness. It's manners. Just ask first. That's my biggest
Oh,
thing. I have no problem sharing as long as you ask.
Exactly.
okay. What about you, Sean? Do you have any problem sharing what's on your plate?
Yeah, Sean mighty quiet.
Yeah, Sean, you mighty quiet. What? Fill
Well,
us in.
I've never had that issue. I've never had the issue. However, I do see it on both perspectives. Number one, some women that are older women, I don't know about the younger women, but some older
Ooh,
women will reach across to see if you're willing to share. And because what's that line from that movie? I can't remember. If he gives you his last piece, that means he really likes you. Okay, whatever. But
right,
I
right. That's
think
true.
that now equally, that if you really knew what you wanted to eat, why are you trying to impress me? You're like, I don't eat that much. I don't even. I'm just gonna order salad. Then why are you going to eat off my plate? Because mine looks better than what you have. And I think
Mhm.
some women don't want to show forth their full appetite.
Right.
When they're when on a first date. Now, did she look at this as a date? I don't know. I don't know. No, I did not call you elderly, LC.
What Darius
but
did at
but
least say, Sean. Darius did at least say that he would bring Ashley back to this restaurant if she decided to choose him at the end of this process.
he did. He did say
Yeah,
that. He did say
he
that.
did. He said he'd bring her back and she
But
could have all the brisket she wanted.
Maybe that's why she chose him
yeah.
to go back.
That's
Mm,
true. That could be what she said. Yeah. I mean,
mm, you
And I don't
guys.
think she heard that part. I don't think she heard that part.
Yeah, that
yeah,
was his confessional to us. He didn't say that to her.
exactly
At
what.
least
You
not
don't
yet.
know who was in the room while he was making that confessional now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause I done already warned us that production can leak secrets too. That's so true.
But hey, she owned it. When
Mhm.
Cardi actually, when they were talking about what Cardi said, she owned it. She said, yeah, that's true. That is her. So she's proud.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I don't see any problem with. I don't see any problem with a woman that has a healthy appetite.
no, there's
I
nothing wrong with having a
But
healthy
then, but
well,
appetite.
then, but
But
then
don't eat off my
there's
plate. Order what you want.
she
but
don't care
there's
about her
some
appetite.
women
You're
that
not like Ron. Ron want to make sure his woman keep her
Rations.
26-inch waist. Her
Yeah.
what?
So, listen, it's not about rationing her.
but then
If she
there's
wants it, then order it and I'll get it for
yeah.
you. But just don't eat
Okay.
it on my plate because you think my plate looks better than yours or whatever. That's crazy.
Well,
It's
yeah.
to
Ask
Ron,
first.
Ron,
That's true.
Ron,
Judge, that's right.
Ron,
Ask first.
I have a friend of mine that just texted me and said, you need to heal.
Oh Lord.
all
Oh Lord.
200
Ron
plus
need to
pounds.
heal.
Ron say, look, don't he said he want to take my
Sharon,
porterhouse, the remaining part of my porterhouse home so that he can have it for lunch tomorrow. Don't be taking no takeaways from this dinner. But
I'm the
but
anyway,
on,
man. There's roles here. God, I don't see how it's that hard. I don't like the new
but
age woman eating like men.
there's some
what I mean, but no, Ron, are you serious? You have never
there's
had a
some
woman
men that
go
have
out
that.
on a date and order a porterhouse steak, and then she take half of it home for dinner?
Is she gonna take half of? Why?
But think,
I'm
No,
paying
because you
for it. I'm taking on a date. I'm the man. I'm the one. She's supposed to be cooking all day for herself and things of that nature. She's not expecting me to cook. I'm working. I'm the man. So like, here, baby, have a little lunch tomorrow. You take that with you. You paid for it. I'm full. We had a
wait
great
a
dinner
minute, Ron.
experience.
Are you guys on a first date? Are you guys now shacked up together? Because you and I are talking two different things here. You seem to be living with this lady that's gonna let you take this steak to lunch.
No, I
I'm
don't care if it's first date. She, I took you
That's
on a
I was
date. I
now,
first
paid
thinking
for
first,
it.
second, third date. That's what I was
You
thinking.
ordered the big boy steak. You didn't finish it.
Yeah,
mhm.
Yeah, hey
yeah.
babe,
I'm not gonna finish it. I'm
let me
not.
pack this up for you so you have a little something later for lunch. That's
Mm,
nice and gracious for a woman to do that.
okay, if I would offer it, but I really would hope that you wouldn't take it.
But
Why wouldn't I take it? Why would I want to go recook some food tomorrow? And I'm a man. I got stuff to do with something. I want to warm it up in the microwave and eat. You could cook you a
Ooh,
salad. Or you got food at the house. If you're a woman, you're supposed to have all this stuff already stocked. I'm a
He said,
caveman. I'm a bachelor. I'm living like, you know what I mean? Some food
Aubrey,
there. I'm gonna go in there and eat, just like your dad used to do, and all that type of stuff.
basically, Ron is
but
saying you can
Aubrey,
only eat when he is around what he paid for. Don't take it
oh,
away unless he
oh.
present.
What were you about to say, Sean? Thank you for
but
that
but
insight.
Aubrey, it's a catch-22 because some men
Hmm.
like, damn, you can eat, can't you? Damn,
Well,
and then some men like, dang, going. I mean, I know I didn't set a price limit, but dang, you going to the most expensive thing on the menu. I mean, you're not going on the job trying to be the boss on the first day. I mean,
no,
so it's kind of
no,
like this
not
precarious.
catch 22.
If you gonna order this, I mean, because I'm not taking you to a Brazilian steakhouse on the first date.
Yeah, those
No,
are quite expensive. I
no,
see your point. I see your point. I
those are
see your
quite,
point.
yeah, yeah. But
Well, we're going to
but
a
the idea, I
steakhouse.
think it's a catch-22.
Hmm. Yeah, but we're going to a steakhouse. I'm probably going to order
Yeah,
the
I
porterhouse
think
because
that's the
I
thing is.
recognize that the porterhouse is what, a filet mignon, and what's the other cut inside of the
It's
porterhouse?
because we go to a steakhouse don't mean you're supposed to order the steak. You got to have some first date etiquette.
They got other stuff.
You know what? See, we never gonna work. We ain't gonna never work because you know what? I gotta eat what I want to eat. I gotta be free. You already showing me you got too many rules and regulations, Ryan. Just so you know.
Eat free when it's on your dollar and your time, but when you on a date, you got to consider the other person.
Okay, so you want me to order something from the turf menu, huh?
Yeah, something a little like you look at the prices and you say, okay, how much am I into this guy? I ain't about to really go out with him after this. He ain't
Yeah,
getting no sex after this. He ain't doing this. I don't even know it's gonna be a second date. I'm not about to
and
order this $75
Oh
steak.
no, I'm not.
I'm gonna get me some chicken
I'm
or
not.
some salmon
Right.
at the $25 rule and
If
keep it
that's
like
the
that.
case, yeah,
and,
I see what you're saying, where you're coming
Ron,
from.
if
No, I'm
it,
not going to
Ron,
mess with the business thing. Go ahead, Sean.
if it got MP on it, don't even look at it. If it got MP on it, don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. If it got MP at it, market
Back in
price.
my day, we
Don't
used to
even
call
look at
that
Price.
it.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna order
that's the sex
the
side of the menu. That's
good
the F side. Look at it.
as our mess. Moving forward. So, so we got Donna and her cousin and her brother are looking forward to meeting Vince. Vince just happens to walk in, just so happens, has nothing to do at all with production, right? Okay. He just happens to walk in as they're talking about Donna's timeline for marriage and engagement, marriage, and having that baby that she wants to have. So he comes in, sits down, gets to talking with the brother, and the brother is asking him questions like, how long do you think it'll be? What's your timeline looking like? And, Vince is basically giving him the razzle dazzle about, could be 5 years, could be 10, could be 15, could be 20, you know. He could be a grandpa basically before he becomes a father again, is what he's saying. And you know, so when he leaves, the brother and the cousin tell her, it just kind of really all depends because he's very uncertain about what it is, when he wants what he wants, and if he even wants to have children. And that's what I've always said about Vince. Elsie, you got any thoughts on the whole Vince and children and timeline debate?
Like, why are we here if we still have a timeline issue? Vince is not stepping off his square. He's stating where, he is. Ain't no timeline with him. But then you're playing in her face. She is 38 of a particular age and she wants kids. So you having no timeline doesn't work for her. Just release her and just say, hey, you have, a definitive timeline for reasons. And I don't want to be pressured to that timeline. So I think we should go about our merry way. If we come back together, fine, maybe. But to just tell her or not have a time, as the cousin said, I need a counter offer. What is your counter offer, Vince? And he doesn't have one. I'm sorry. This just, ain't this ain't gonna happen. This really ain't gonna happen long time unless somebody adjusts and compromise. And as the brother said, somebody needs to be flexible. And Vince thought that Donna needs to be flexible, but that also applies to him. He needs to be flexible as well.
Wow, good point. Good point. Jr. Any
Yeah,
thoughts about
I,
the whole
I,
debate, timeline debate?
yeah, I agree with Elsid actually. I think Vince and Donna are at different stages in life, and their perspectives on having children is very different. Vince has two already, um, so he's not in a rush to have any more anytime soon, clearly. And Donna, she doesn't have any yet, and she really wants to have a family and this and the other. So they're not aligned. I definitely think, it's surprising that they both chose to still choose each other or still be in the process at this stage, because that's a fundamental difference.
Yeah, there is. That is. Uh, Sean, you got any thoughts on this? Or Sean?
Well, I'll take the psychological approach. I don't have a degree in psychology. However, yeah, I'm here. I'll
Yeah.
take the
Okay.
psychological approach on this. I don't know if Donna wants a child because she wants to feel love. She wants something to love her. Um, or because she has thrown her so much into her education that she has not taken the time for herself to have a family in her life. I don't want to say that the ship has left the dock, but I will say that the state of Michigan does have an adoption service. So she might have to look at that. I mean, because the older you are, the first time pregnancy, the more health risks could be involved. I don't know. It could very well be a successful pregnancy. It could very well go another way. So I don't know. It might just be one of the things that she might have to check off on her list.
Yeah. Okay. And Mr. Jaguar.
Well, I have a few thoughts on that. Um, I want to disagree a little bit with El said. Vince is flexible in the fact that he said up front that he is open to having children. He's not at the point where he said, well, I already had my two kids. I'm not doing that again. I'm not going through that. I don't want to be getting up to, change diapers. And he said he's open to it. So that is a bit of flexibility. But to be honest, as I said for my predictions, I think I said it last week. At least I think I said it on Else's. I'm not sure if I said it on this channel. I think Vince and Donna make it to the end, as we saw. But and I'm not sure if they can last because she's gonna consistently and continually be like, okay, we're at this point. It's 3 weeks and 5 days. We should be doing X by now. Blah blah blah. And she's gonna keep constantly being like, we should be doing this. We should be doing this. And he's gonna get that's gonna get annoying for him very quickly. So I don't think they can last like that. I also echo Sean's point where if you want to find out about something, you talk to the experts. So if you want to find out about breads and pastries, you talk to bakers. You want to find out about fish, you talk to fishermen. You want to find out about meat, you talk to butchers. According to medical experts, geriatric pregnancy for women starts at 35. That's when it starts. Now, this is obviously not to say that a woman can't have a regular pregnancy and give birth to a live, healthy, normal baby after 35. But as you get older, you're playing and you're going up against the odds because you have increased chances for issues with deliveries, including miscarriages, stillborn deliveries, birth defects, complications for the mother, etc. So, because of her being in a rush to get this child, I mean, it's kind of, I don't think I've heard somebody before say, I need to be moved in with you in 3 months' time. That sounds a bit, mm, it sounds a bit desperate, is the best word I could describe it as. So, I don't know if that's going to work out for the two of them. But he said he is open to having children. So, I mean, it could work out, but I don't really give it much of a shot.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that ain't. I have a sister who no kids, 39, she's 38. And nothing else matters to her at this point except finding a man, having a kid, having a husband, and things of that nature. Because those women have put it off for so long, and they know that that clock is ticking hard. It's tick, 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 and she doesn't have time to waste. Him going slow with it. That's why I said they need to look for a man with no kids too, because his timeline is gonna be a lot quicker. It's gonna be a lot faster. They're gonna be on the same page, and it's like I said, it's very important to women around that age bracket. And yeah, that's what they need to find. A man with two kids gonna sit back and chill. And it's gonna get to the point where he ain't even, like, if they once they even get intimate, he's not even gonna want to be intimate that much with her because he's like, man, I don't know if she putting the hole through the
Oh,
condom. I mean, you don't know. As a man, you start getting a little
oh,
insecure
Ron,
about,
that's so low
because
blood.
they want the kids so bad. You already know if something pops up, she having it, she happy, and you looking like, oh, we're ready. You can't. You got to be equally yoked when it comes to that situation. So
Yeah,
it's just
I got
easier. It's just easier for her to, find a man with no kids who's looking to start a family pretty soon than a man with two kids. It's kind of laid back about it. Like, well, if it happens, y'all ain't on the same page. And this timeline's going quick. You don't got a year to date a guy and then a year to plan for the wedding and get the money right for that, and then another year to then go, work on junior. You know what I mean? Like, y'all don't got those years lined up like that. You got to get on the same page right away. Like she said, she really got to. She was thinking right. She got to get in and start living with a man within 6 months. I agree with that. Y'all should be playing house, set it up, see what it looks like, and then work it on the kid and work it on the marriage thing within 6 to 8 months. This should be a done deal. And she needs a man with that type of intentionality, even if she doesn't. Even if she really does have strong feelings for Vince, and she might not have as strong feelings from the other guy, the new guy, but y'all gonna be on the same page, and it's gonna help the relationship. It's gonna outlast that.
right. Pick a struggle. In other words, Ron, pick a
Bigger
struggle.
struggle.
You can struggle to try to get these men, but this one right over here, he ain't ready for children. He talking about he gonna take his time. That mean, you know what? That's just like the guy that says, I'm going with the flow. These are all things. These are all catchphrases that men say when they're basically saying no, but they still want to get in your panties. So, ladies, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it
But the
go.
question is, why does she want a child? Is it for
They all want a
validation?
child.
Is it for validation, or is it because she feel like she's missing out on? She does not feel complete as a woman until she has a child. I mean, we
I
don't have the
think.
back. We don't have the
It's
backstory
probably
to it,
part
but
of the probably part of the plan that they have. I know a lot of younger women who like write in their diary, I'll be married at this age, I'll have this job at this age, and I'll be have how many children at this age. So it's probably part of her stuff. And as we saw on the show, she's completing her dissertation, so she's about to get her PhD. She's gonna have a doctorate. So she probably thinks, okay, I've done these studies. I've got my doctorate. I'm at this point in my life where I'm ready to settle down and have children. So she's probably trying to rush stuff through. But the same thing with Shannon. If you remember, Shannon did 14 years of studies. So she's also ready. And both of them are realizing that their biological clocks are ticking.
They're ticking.
But I really think that they should have probably, as I think, as our host said, they probably should have picked guys who didn't have children. So probably like Devon and Stephen were probably better
Steven.
candidates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's nothing wrong with a woman 38. My sister, I encourage her to have a kid. I encourage these women to have children. You don't let nobody talk you out of reproducing. That's part of life. You know, it's a very big part of
Big
life.
part.
Very,
Mhm.
yeah, very nice stage. If you want that, you deserve to be a mother and do that and go through that part of your life. Just look for a guy. It's ready. There's a bunch of dudes that don't have kids that are ready to have kids. Now he might not be 6'5". You know what I mean? You might gonna have to maneuver some other stuff around, but find you a man that's ready and let him hold down that household and y'all build a quick little family together in the later stage. I see it all the time, but it works when a woman picks a man who really wants a kid right there too, and they're working on, and he's a family man. He's big in the family. That's what he,
Right.
desires, and that's what he sees himself as.
now,
And
granted,
also,
what we
I was
see
good.
is edited, and I mean, I never really heard her say anything about I want a husband. I want a husband first. You know, but she's been dead set. She never said anything about wanting to be married, nothing like that. Looking at her her chime in on another channel, she said, well, she never really said anything about being married. She wanted to have a child. You know, that's what she said. So I really don't know. I mean, I don't know her, whatever her issue may be or might not be. I don't. That's up to her.
She did say it on this episode. She said love is on her vision board. She wants, and then another time she said she wants to be engaged by, before by the in 2025, even if it's on the last day of the year. Happy New Year. She said that when she was talking to Vincent, his brother. She talked about marriage.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
never got the
and
impression that she just
Engagement is
wanted
one
to
thing,
have.
you know.
Mhm. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
engagement is one thing. It could be engagement could be 6 weeks, 6 months. I don't know. How
I
long is
yeah,
think
engagement?
JR had
You
something he
know.
wanted to say. Go ahead,
yeah. I was
JR.
gonna say, like, I was gonna bring up the point El Cid just brought up, which is she actually does have a vision board, and on that vision board, she said this is the first time she's put love on the vision board. So, she's clearly stated as well that she wants to be moved in within the first 3 months, and she wants to be engaged by the end of the year. So those are things that she's clearly been thinking about on her vision board. But like Sean said, she hasn't actually said about being a wife in that situation. So Vince, he clearly has 2 children already. That doesn't necessarily mean he wants to be a baby dad. He doesn't want to necessarily go down the marriage route or children route himself yet. And unless one of them concedes, or then it's not going to be possible to have both of their perspectives in the place where they want them to be. So that's why I think there was Stephen, there was
Devon.
who was it, Devon,
And I don't think
but
Xavier didn't have any children either, if I remember correctly.
right. So there were a
No.
couple of guys that didn't have children, but obviously the connection in other ways wasn't there with compared to what she has with Vince, as far as she's concerned. And let's be real, she has actually stated on this episode as well the ways that Vince makes her feel seen, heard, and loved, and all that stuff. She actually did feel like there was a connection there. So, in terms of her goals, it's either she puts off until he's ready, or they have to walk in another direction from each other, because they're not aligned. And also, we don't know how she's going to adapt to being a stepmother to Vince's current kids. That also hasn't been talked about on the show. So, it's not just simple as her wanting a child. She's actually joining it's going to be a blended family, so to speak. So, they'll have to navigate that too.
His children are grown, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're both grown.
Say again. Oh,
No,
Both
Vincent? No.
teenagers.
15 to
I think they're
17.
both.
15 to
Teenagers.
17.
Yeah,
15 to
teenagers.
17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got a little,
Well,
little way
yeah,
before
okay.
they're grown. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I mean, they're not like little toddlers that you have to run about and
Oh
stuff.
no.
But, I mean, yeah.
But that's a big change. That 15 to 17. I mean, you know, Vince keeps him. Vince strikes me as a guy that likes to sleep in, and he don't want to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, paint and feed nothing.
Diapers.
And
Actually, the opposite. If you follow him, it's actually the opposite. He awake at the crack of dawn.
At the gym,
oh
maybe,
wow,
perhaps. Is that what it
Right.
is?
That's all his stuff, and he's posting shows his the time check and all that, and it's like, dude, when do you sleep?
oh
Ah,
wow.
yeah.
Well,
Next thing we got to go on, guys. Next thing we've got Ashante. Ashante, wow, her mom. She had Bello grabbing his nebulizer. Is that what that's called?
that's my
His
problem.
Yeah, and inhaler, nebulizers, anything.
The inhaler.
inhaler. Yeah, she had
Albuterol. He was sucking on the albuterol.
Okay, so they met they met they met both Bello and Darius, and Darius, of course, he has his charm, his way of smooth talking. But Bello, when mom found out that Bello had a 1-year-old, and then Bello said, well, not really 1 year old, 14 months. And then, there was the 9 months for the pregnancy. So she said, because she's asking him, she said, well, how are you, Sean? How are you out here dating so
Back so
quickly after
soon.
having a 1-year-old? Sean, your mic. How are you out here dating with a 1-year-old? And then he says, well, no, 14 months, and then you add 9 months. So basically 2 years. But then she's like, well, do you guys have an organized plan or schedule? He's like, no, I just go with the flow. That's what I do. I go with the flow. Baby down in Miami, so it's not that big a deal. He didn't say it that way, guys, but I'm adding in some stuff right here. But that's when he needed to get his inhaler out. So, and you can see that Ashante is looking at him like, you know what? You two Negroes. Mm. And even the stepdad is like, Darius, are you here for a long time or just a good time? It's sad. I know her parents, her mom, her stepdad had to be telling her no. This is a no on both men. Too much older than you, too much experience, and all of them got kids. Ain't none of them never. They asked Darius about marriage. Her mother asked him, well, you got all these kids. You never thought none of them was good enough to be a wife? Well, I think I was young back then. I was so young. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Not with all 4 babies. Yeah, you were a teenager when you were making them oldest ones, which is a problem. That's very problematic. Now you got some little ones like 9 years old. You're a 40-plus-year-old man, and you mean to tell me that 30 is not old enough for you to have your stuff together? What do you think about this, LC? What do you think about this conversation?
This conversation, tells you why you need to present a man before your parents. The same thing with Doms. They will get through the foolishness and the bull that the other party is trying to sell to you. When Darius said his age, mom was like, "Ooh, you my age or closer to my age." Mama kind of looked at him differently. And then here's Bello trying to tell a grown woman, a mother, about the gestational period of a child. Are you kidding me, sir? This is, when they talk about mansplaining, it's like, sir, we are sussing out that your story don't add up. And you ain't helping yourself by saying this. Just say, hey, say the same thing that you've been telling all the ladies. Had a one-night stand, turns into a child. I didn't find out till the child, was about 5 months old. So it is all new to me. And we are co-parenting the best way we can. Full stop. But what I noticed with Bello, what I noticed in with Dom's parents is he is looking down at the table and not looking into the dad's eyes or into the parents' eyes when he's talking his talk. So that tells me exactly why they don't believe his foolishness. But he also just talk about the community he wants to build, and we don't hear how Ashante fits into his future plans. And Darius was just copy paste the same thing he said to Ashley's brother. Both of them were not serious.
Very unserious. Very unserious. And while he's building communities and don't have no plan of when he gonna see his baby next, some community builder. Why don't you start with your own family, sir? But that's just a thought. That's just a thought. Jr. Your thoughts on this scene?
Yeah,
Ooh.
the parents weren't feeling
Oh,
none of them.
hey, sweetie. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I don't know if I can do it. How do I do this? Uh oh shoot. I can't do it, Ron. I was trying to I never know how El Cid, I'm gonna have to have you do a whole class on this. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Hey baby. How's your sweet plum, your little pumpkin? She is so adorable, Ron. Say hi, everybody. Say hi to little pumpkin.
Aubrey. Say hi, Auntie Aubrey.
Hey, this your auntie. Oh my gosh, you are so big, darling. Look at you. Oh my God, Ron. She is so precious. I love her. I love
Yeah,
her.
but then I keep mines around. I don't know.
I know you
Sick.
don't be going down there. Yep, and you got a travel situation yourself, but I mean, but you have a plan in place, correct?
Yeah, I had one from day one. I think in Bello's situation, that's his problem. It is new to him. He wants to come off a certain way as distinguished and stuff like that. I think that put a kind of hole into his perfection image that he's trying to pull out. But you know what I mean? I get it that you got to sell the image, but you got to be real too, and you got to be real with yourself and real with your situations and things of that nature. You got to put something in place for that kid. Remember when he was meeting when the parents, his brother or whoever it was, haven't even seen the kid yet. That was earlier in the episode.
Right.
So
Yep.
yeah, so you ain't you ain't took the family down to see this kid yet, and it could be out of mind, out of sight, real quickly if you don't have a plan for your kid that you have to travel to out of town. I haven't missed a day with Nessie since she was born, 1 month old, 3 weeks. She's 6 in 2 weeks. I've never missed 3 weeks ever, not one time, not for any
Wow.
reason, not nothing. And I made sure I got here at the end of January to make sure I made my 3 week period. And we had a snowstorm in Houston, and I make sure I got on the plane beforehand, so I didn't make sure that the weather was an excuse for me to miss my 3 week period. So gotta have a plan. And
Oh,
I told
oh,
my baby mother, I said I can get down there every three weeks. I said I
right.
won't miss that. I can't do every week. I can't do every 2 weeks. I'm gonna be real with you. I got work. I got this going on like that, but I can keep this promise. This is my plan. My promise to myself, promise to my daughter, promise to you, and I've been consistent with that. But you have to do that early and hold yourself to it. And it helps the co-parent situation. It helps your family get aboard on a long distance relationship. It helps you and your connection with his young kid and things of that nature. And I would give him that advice. But you're gonna have to, when people ask, you got to be real. Hey, something happened, but look at me step it up when I easily could have ran for the situation. Nobody was holding me to come here. Nobody was holding me to do anything. I made a choice. This is my choice. I want to be there for my daughter. I want to be a father. I want to take care of my kid. And I fly in 3.5 hours every 2 weeks. Uber, to, what I mean? I do all that on top of paying for her every month. And it's my choice to do that. But don't let nobody shame you, or that doesn't emit your image and stuff like that for stepping up to the plate. It messes your image up when you don't.
That's what I'm thinking. But it seems
Mm.
like I run across a few Nigerian people that are more concerned about the rightness of things than they are about doing things the right way. You get what I'm saying? So, in other words,
Mhm.
somebody has what the old folks used to say, have a baby on the wrong side of the sheets, i.e., outside of marriage. They don't really care as much about that child versus the child that was, conceived and had by a spouse, that
Mhm.
person's spouse. And I noticed that with it felt that way. I could be wrong, but it felt that way with Bello's brother, because his whole attitude and the way he rolled his eyes about his niece, like, children can't help the circumstances under which they were born. They have nothing
Mhm.
to do with that. That's us adults out here doing that, right? and for him to make a difference in whether his niece was born um, in marriage or created in marriage or not. To me, I didn't really understand that, but I've seen that a lot.
Mm.
I've seen that a lot.
So to me, it looks like Bello and the child's mother still have a lot of reconciling and planning to do on, and how he features in that child's life. Like they still have that unresolved. Um, and Ashante's parents basically saw him as a used car salesman type dude. Because, you know, the first thing he's trying to do is sell them on what he's trying to build in Canada or whatever, and nothing actually pertaining to a relationship with Ashanti. I don't think he mentioned what that would actually look like. And then in one of the hot takes on televised scenes, they asked Darius about his children and how many he has and all of that. And again, he kind of let himself down because he's not in a stable family unit. He has 4 children with 3 different women. So they obviously don't want none of that for their daughter, you know, and so they're not impressed by either man at this particular date. And at the end of the day, Ashante's been friend vibes the whole time. So there's no romantic chemistry or connection with either of these two guys. She lacks Bello's intellect and the books they read. They have that in common. And Darius, you know, they laugh and joke and kiki and all of that stuff. But in terms of romance, there's nothing there anyway. So it's just home time for Ashanti at this point.
Well, nice segue. Thank you for that segue, JR, into the scene at the park where Ashanti meets up with Bello, who then seems surprised that his boy Darius is also there. And Ashanti proceeds to tell them that although she enjoyed her time with them and wishes them the best of luck and success in their relationships, that she will be bowing out gracefully, to which both men seem to be very relieved. But I kind of wonder, and I wonder if anybody else here on the panel wonders too, and if you're out in the audience or if you're watching this on the replay, drop down in the comment section and let me know. I think that honestly, Darius, had she been willing to take a risk on him, I think he would have dropped Ashley like a hot potato. What do you think, El Cid?
Nah, I don't think so. They want us to believe so, but it happened too late, way too late. You know, it all convoluted with him and Ashanti. You know, they are at the correct stage in the life for each other. Neither one wants to have more children, whereas Ashley wants to have children. So, you know, it makes more sense, but he wasn't cultivating a relationship with Ashanti, you know, earlier. So it wouldn't have happened. I don't think so. I don't think he would have taken that time at all, especially with the performances with the families. I don't think Darius would have dropped Ashley for Ashanti. Now, after the show, after he and Ashley tried to have a go at it and it didn't work, yeah, I believe he will make that U-turn and say, yo, whatever, Ashanti, you want to go flying again? You want to go out fly? I got you, girl. I got you.
Oh wow. JR, what are your thoughts about this little we gotta close up this gap in the storyline with production. So what did you think about this conversation?
I actually think you may be onto something I think Darius would have dropped actually, because they've had a pretty turbulent time over the last few episodes. You know, they've clashed on what a relationship would look like between them after the show. And I think Darius is the type of dude who has a roving eye, and he would jump at the opportunity to start something else with someone that he hasn't conquered yet. And that's why he's dressed like Craven the Hunter. Like this guy is a hunter, you know. He's out here trying to look for fresh meat. So I think Ashanti did the right thing, and Darius had no choice but to pursue Ashley after that. You know, she removed herself as being an option, and rightfully so. And Darius has cultivated more of a relationship, but it's going to be rocky. Let's face it. You know, even at the end when they are talking, you could tell she's very emotionally, been going through it during their interactions. So I think there's a good chance that Darius would have chosen Ashanti if she had been welcome to it. Bello, on the other hand, Bello's locked in with Dominique, so there was no chance there.
Is it just me, or does Bello seem like he's almost as afraid of Dominique as what's the couple that just split up from Ready to Love, Camille and Cornelius.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else think that? What do you think, Sean?
On that question, you guys, yeah, he seemed like he was very much walking on eggshells around Dominique, because he couldn't talk freely. He seemed like she had some kind of control over him. Now, whether I don't know what the extent of whether they had rumbled between the sheets or not, I'm sure they did, but or what it was that she has on him, I don't know. But back to the previous question, I disagree with LC. I agree with the other commentary that if Ashanti had chosen Darius, Darius would have dropped to Ashley and gone with Ashanti. Because I see basically that Ashley and Darius move in two different worlds, two different orbits. Ashanti says she likes to be out. Ashley, I think she would be no more than a big sister to Darius's children, if that. I think the question that I would have to clear up. Well, granted, like Ron said, they're seeing this from episode to episode like we are, but the question I would have to answer would be like, okay, now let's go back a couple of episodes. What kind of work do you put your women into? With the sister said, quote unquote, that he likes to put his women to work. What kind of work are we talking about? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. The strip club.
That's a whole lot of questions. Yeah, that was a whole lot of questions for me.
Wasn't that a strip club that he owned prior to that he was talking about? So
he claimed that's what it was. He claimed that's what it
was. And he had a relationship with the lady that he put in the strip club, right? Like he's saying that was a long-term relationship, and he's trying to steer away from that type of life. So yeah, any girl that gets with Darius should bear that in mind. If he's the type of guy to put these ladies to work, so to speak, what type of work are you talking about? How often does this happen? And how is that going to impact your relationship? So, yeah, Ashanti did the right thing. Ashley, you're in for a turbulent time if you think Darius is the man of your dreams. Like Sean said, they move in two different orbits. There's a significant age gap. There's the children factor as well. And he's a show pony. He likes to show off and be quite flashy, flamboyant. I think that suits Ashley. But other than that, I don't see what else they have in common.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyone else? Ryan, what do you think about the situation between how she was able to give both these men up? Any thoughts?
Well, like I said, her and Darius kind of got acquainted late in the game, so he's going to be loyal to the first person you have your connection with. It's usually how that goes. But she's right. Both of these men have some baggage. Let's keep it real. And it's very hard to have a successful relationship on this show when you got multiple things going on, because it's already hard enough to leave a show after getting to know people that quickly, and then you're automatically in a relationship that the whole world knows about and sees, and you have to keep up appearances and keep that going while getting to know each other, while dealing with 4 kids, while dealing with 3 baby mamas, while dealing with a 1-year-old, while dealing with a business, while dealing with, it's just too much. Nobody can do it. It's impossible. That's why Darius wants woman, when he says communication, he's meaning I'm trying to control you, because I need a woman I can control, because if I got a lot of expectations, if that woman has a lot of expectations from me and I can't control the scenario, how in the world am I going to be able to keep up my image? Because it takes a while to put on them furs and get the haircuts and all that stuff and look my part.
Get that spray paint on just right.
Yeah, it takes you want to be looking picture perfect all day as a man. You're a woman. You know how long. I mean, it takes. That's
Yeah.
a whole half day within itself. Now you got 4 kids, 3 baby mamas to deal with. Then you still got to make money and get your finances and stuff together and up as a male. And then you got the expectations of a woman knocking on your door every day, talking about I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You can't do it, or you know what I mean. So he has to, like he said, he has to be a hunter. He has to bounce around. He has to keep relationships short and light because he really does not have the time to really pour into somebody the right way in order to make a relationship work and grow. And Bello's planning out now where, he's working on housing development on top of a long distance, child situation. Now he's conflicted because when you're in a long distance child relationship, you're basically single most of the time. So he's living his lifestyle as a single male with no kid. But in reality, the kid is still there. You know what I mean? You have to make plans and stuff and go around that. So both of these guys got situations that they need to handle first before they get in a long-term committed relationship, especially one that's televised on TV. So like I said, I don't think any of them are going to work. And I think her as young, she's got to get new. Like, that this is not going none of these two men are going to be able to sacrifice what they got going on in order to make a relationship grow. Especially, like I said, one that is going to be publicized and things of that nature. So, yeah, she made the right decision. I mean, we know from Darius' situation that the other girl that he did chose, and they were already rocky a little bit, and she been in the posts and stuff saying she don't care much for him at all. So I think, like I said, his appearances, I think it lasts for a little bit. Women get to know the situation, figure out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a lot of substance or not a lot of, he can't really devote a lot of time and stuff to the situation, and they move on, and he moves on. And, and it's that's reality of dating. I'm not blaming any of these guys for this situation. I couldn't do it. I'm having a hard time balancing trying to grow myself as a professional and keeping my body together and working out and eating and dealing with too long distance relationships with a woman and my kid. You know what I mean? It is tough. And I think people think we're Superman all the time, and men got to come to the understanding that, I can't do everything. I can't, at my age, I can't drop off any of this stuff. I can't drop off financially. I get blamed for that. I can't drop off as a parent. I get blamed for that. I can't drop off as a boyfriend these days with women being so emotional because they blame me for that.
So what? So emotional?
Oh,
Who's
yeah, because women go off the feelings. So like I said, if you miss a couple of calls, you like that, she goes, oh, what's going on? I feel distant. You have to keep up with her emotional your emotional intelligence has to be there. You have to keep up with her emotional being a lot of times. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure on a man. Like I said, that's a lot of why a lot of these guys.
Like it sounds like it, but can I just add something in? And this is just me. So if there is a plan, don't, and I'm sure you're not a Vince, you're not a Bello. These are guys with no plans. They if it happens, it happens. It's gonna be organic. But if you have a plan with that situation whereby at some point, there's less distance and more we're in the same city, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it'll make you working on that, and that definitely would make things easier. But with that said, everything has to be on the same page. Because like I said, when you're dating on Ready to Love and at the age demographic, that 30 to 50, let's say, in that age demographic, like it's two individuals getting together. It's two independent people that got their own places, got their own cars, paying their own bills, got their own kids, got their own families, trying to merge as one. And I think women don't get it on how that you don't have to merge. My mom, when she met my dad, she was the breadwinner. She was the manager at the bank. She gave up her career to jumpstart his, and he went all the way to the top. And she never worked really again. And when she wanted to get her career back, it was too late. So she made the sacrifice. These women today are never going to do that. So you got to be able to, but that's what a man needs in order to push him to the direction. So you want him to be this provider and pay for everything and be making this type amount of money and show him off that way, but you're not willing to pour in all of that in order to make that happen. To say, okay, you're the horse. We're gonna pour all the resources, all the assets, everything into you, and let you work it out. And I'm gonna take a back step, or whatever it is, to kind of parade it. But you have to have a plan for that in order to see, it takes the pressure off that man and point everything to the right direction. But they don't. What women do is they keep their little stash and their career and everything in the background, as a just in case this don't work. Daddy told me to have all this set up side
That's
here,
right.
so I don't.
Mama told me. That's exactly right. You don't go into a marriage or a relationship and just bank it all on him. No, never. Nope.
I get it, but how do you grow that into it? It's harder to grow into it. Understand it. I get it, but it's going to be harder to grow that into a marriage because it's still two separate lives trying to come together. You know what I mean?
It doesn't mean we don't have a joint account. I mean, I'm just telling you like it is. It doesn't mean we don't have a joint account together where we're putting things together, but that doesn't mean that as a wise woman that has seen men abuse, dog degrade, emotionally, financially abuse women. No, that doesn't mean that I'm not smart enough to have my stash and have something that you don't know about. Or if you do know about it, you're not ever going to touch it. It's for me, it's a safety net, and I feel better that way. And to me, as an emotionally intelligent man or male, you should feel better that I feel better and safe that way.
And I would, but the fact of the matter is, it's still an individual move when we're trying to be as one in partnership. And marriage only works if you guys are working as one. So it's like, if you're still doing individual stuff, like thinking about yourself.
Like saying you go out and have lunch or watch the Super Bowl with your guy friends because I care nothing about the Super Bowl. That's like saying that we can't have a relationship and a good healthy marriage because of that. That's not true.
No, that's not the same as you having a whole backup plan of life direction just in case this goes.
It ain't a whole backup plan.
It ain't the same thing.
It may be $99.99 that I know when I need it, it's there. It might just be that. It may not be a whole, like, no, I ain't got a whole separate, $1 million sitting up in this other account while we're struggling trying to eat.
It's called it's a walk away plan. Now you have a walk away plan that you can walk away from.
Safety net. Well,
Darius is to this season what Naeem was the last season in Philly. Naeem had 5 children, has 5 children.
Ah, got you.
And and I think
he just didn't wear furs.
And I think the idea is the dynamic is he just didn't wear furs, yeah. So I mean, not only does Darius have two older children, 2 younger children, but it's 4 children, 3 different mamas. But you have children's personalities as well as the baby mother's personalities. Some of them feel like, well, he should have been with me. He was supposed to be with me, and they can't move on beyond that. Then some of them are maybe indifferent, or what have you. I don't know. And then the whole backstory, I don't know whether he's on papers, like people say today, he's on papers, and he got that 20%, that 21% coming out of his check, or what have you, or he has an agreement, or what kind of father is he? Does he spend time with his children? What have you?
Let me answer that real quick.
Bello. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, to stick up for the men. I've met most of the guys that's been on the show in all 11 seasons, and I met Dante has 5 kids that was in DC and stuff like that. Most of the guys I've seen with the multiple kids, I gotta give them their props. Know them personally, have been amazing fathers, and you know that because you ain't seen no baby mamas. They be the first ones to come out the woodwork on on the blogs and stuff like that. And we ain't seen the baby mamas jump out. We ain't seen Darius baby mamas do stuff. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt of saying that for what I've seen from Ready to Love men with 4 or 5 multiple kids, they all have been stand-up fathers to what I've seen. And we ain't seen a bunch of baby mamas hitting the blogs talking about this dude's a deadbeat parent. This. I haven't seen it yet for any of the guys that I know with the multiple kids. So I think from a trend standpoint, I've seen good fathers that, like I said, Dante, one of the best fathers I've ever seen. He got 5, out of DC. So I've seen it over and over again for Ready to Love men that been stepping up in the father zone. And like I said, we haven't seen a lot of those. We see some ex women come out the woodwork on the blogs and talk mess. We ain't seen no baby mama say much of anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. And
Like,
that's
I
true.
have a question actually. I have a question for Aubrey. No, like, so Aubrey, if, like, obviously, you're saying it's okay for a woman to have like a backup plan or whatever. Would you be okay with your man having a backup plan? Because typically men lose a lot more financially and everything when the marriage crumbles. You really, they say that you
Yeah.
give half, but a lot of the time guys are paying alimony and various other different things. Their checks are depleted a lot more. So would you be averse to a guy saying, you know what, let's do this marriage thing, but I'm gonna have my own money on the side too, just like you do, and then when we both walk away, we still have that safety net where it's not so hard to start from scratch again.
No, I wouldn't have a problem with him having a safety net or a safety plan. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Cool. That's very modern.
I think so. I mean, like I said, but what we talked about offline, and I'll just share this with our viewers and our community, is that I grew up with a father who, way back when, really even before so much the women live type of stuff, right? And the so-called modern woman, before he married my mom, he asked her, he said, do you want to work outside the home, or do you want to, you can sit down and be a housewife, because either way, I've got it. I've got the bills, and you can work outside the home, or you can stay at home. It doesn't matter to me. And my mother chose to work outside the home, but she never paid for any bills. So it was kind of a real juxtapose when my father passed away so early in life, and I was only 19. My mom had never written out a check to pay a bill. Never. I had to help her write checks. So no, I said all that to say, I think that people have to be progressive in their thinking. The kind of, like Mr. Jaguar talks about, the traditional man and the traditional woman, the modern man. Well, nobody now in 2026 is really living completely like a traditional man and a traditional woman. That's not really happening. Maybe perhaps in the Amish community, maybe perhaps in the I forget what they call Orthodox Jew community, where they don't use electricity on Holy Day. Maybe in some of those communities where they're so separated from the community at a large in the United States of America. But no, you got to create your own relationship. There are certain boundaries that all relationships, healthy relationships, have. But if you're getting married now in 2026 and you're building a relationship and looking toward marriage, the two of you have got to make your own rules and be okay with them, and compromise and agree with one another. That's what I think.
Good
Just
answer.
okay. Well, good. I'm glad it was a good answer, guys. We're gonna move forward now. We've got a couple more scenes to get through. So we
I
got
just want to
Vince.
get in before we move on there. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to
Go
say
ahead.
at the end, it was just about because it looks like since this was the end of the show, it looks like she couldn't self-eliminate at that point, and there were 3 men and 4 women. So I think they needed a female to be gone so that they could have the 3 couples at the union that they wanted. It didn't really look like either of those men were going to choose Ashanti directly. As I said, Bello had locked in with Dom early on in the process, and in my opinion, Darius was kind of more into Ashley. This is my opinion. So it looks like I think this was a production thing to get her to be out of the way, so they could just have the 3 men and the 3 women going forward to the reunion. That's just my point on it.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. All right. So thank you for that. We go back to Vince. Vince is in the park. He's got his hydrangeas in his hand, and he is ready for his lady to appear. And there she is, Donna. Donna is ready. She receives her hydrangeas, and she even helps him with the pronunciation of such. And then Vince begins to tell her that, how he feels about her, how when she looks him in the eyes, he gets weak and he has these emotional feelings that supposedly men don't have, but they do. Um, and then she begins to tell him, how she feels about him. They've had their ups and downs. Uh, Life has been hard, but now they're together and she accepts and she wants to do this thing together with him. El Cid, what did you make of Donna agreeing to moving along with Vince, who we know has no plans of anytime soon marrying or having children with a woman? What did you make of that?
That either Donna lied to us or to herself or both, because how are you going to hitch your wagon to a man that got no plan for you, even though, as the panel has said before, you are experiencing very loud ticking of your clock, and you want to move in 3 months, you want to have a baby, you want to be engaged by the end of the year, and this man every time has told you, no, that ain't me, and you ain't going to change my timeline. So Donna lying to somebody. So, or she could be just doing it up for the camera. Now, um, it bodes well for Vince that he remembered her favorite flowers, and it did not come in the gas station plastic. It bodes well for him for her to say yes. But I'm just saying, this ain't gonna last. This ain't gonna last.
It ain't gonna last. You sure?
I
You
don't
don't think
think
it's
so,
gonna
because
last?
again, he has no plan. He has no, or I should say, his plan is to not plan. That's his plan. Is to not plan. They are not, like people like to say, they're not evenly yoked. Is nothing. And right, I was getting there. At the end of this, we just hug and you just sniffing the perfume in her neck. That is all we're
Mhm.
doing. There's no romance with these two.
Nope.
Nothing that tells me it's loving or we gonna date, other than like, what up, bro? You want to go out of here? You want to go grab something to eat? It did not sound like we are actually going to be dating romantically. Which it sounded like we just gonna be friends. That's what it sounded like. We just got to the end. We made it to the bridge, and let's go grab something to eat. We done filming. Let's get out of here.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. JR?
Yeah, there's no romantic chemistry. Um, I think they just
They look so
showed
cute together though.
they look. Yeah, that's aesthetically they do look good to go. But as we established, there's a lot of things that they would need to iron out in order to have a successful relationship. There are two different stages in life, and but we're not going to rehash that. But what I'll say is, for them to choose each other, I'm happy for them. But I
Hmm.
think it was more a case of we've reached this far. It's only us two. There's no other connections to step in the way of anything. Let's just see how it goes.
Okay.
So, but I don't think there's a chemistry, a spark. There's no kissing. There's no real um, boyfriend girlfriend type energy here. So, yeah, I think they're just very pleasant and cordial, and they may have similarities in the things they find funny and stuff like that. Um, but that's as far as it goes. I think by the reunion, they'll probably be on good terms, but just not in a relationship.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
I disagree. I think this would be the only couple still together at the reunion.
Mm.
I think that one of Vince's greatest qualities is he's very honest and he communicates.
He does.
And I think that communication is what keeps the relationship growing and strong after the show. Um, because you now you're forced to communicate on your own. The production's not setting up your dates. Production's not telling you have to call that person. You're not in no elimination situation. It's now all on you. And I think he's the type of person that will keep that communication going and keep getting to know her. And that nice is the growth. These are two people that came on the show. They really had no other agenda. One's got two kids and chill. The other one is studying for a doctorate. Bello. It helps when you're in real estate development. Now you got a little cliche on the show, helps your business. Darius, he's in the arts and Tubi movies and all that stuff. He needs his image on that. They might have had different alternative motives of kind of being on the show in the first place, but these two just wanted to meet somebody. You met somebody that's good-hearted, decent, that's honest. This is a very honest relationship from the get-go. They've had some twists and turns already, and they was able to have a real conversation where anybody else would have just popped the balloon. They were able to work it out in between good communication and pure honesty. And I think they came in for the right reasons. So yeah, and the reunion, this couple will still be together working on things.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Sean Stokes, what are your thoughts?
You got to call my first and last name. I hear you.
Yeah, I gotta call you
Uh,
all the way out.
I hear you. I think I'm gonna use two words that are exact opposites to describe these two. They're intimately platonic.
Mm, wow.
Intimately platonic. Uh, you know, I read your comment. Yeah, they look like brother and sister. She's analytical. She's analytical, but can he create enough fodder of conversation to mentally stimulate her? Because I think she's a sapiosexual. I think she's
Ooh,
attracted to that.
a woman after my
And
own heart.
yeah, I'm a sapiosexual as well. So I mean, I think can he maneuver in that space and not be intimidated by her being Dr. Donna, so and so, or will she bring that up, or is she going to still be just Donna? You know, because some newly minted PhDs are don't call me by my first name, call me Doctor so and so and so so. You know, or what have you.
I have a friend
Uh,
like that. I
yeah,
just laugh at him.
yeah. I'm like, okay, you know, dude, it's not this. It's nowhere in your birth certificate where it says Doctor so and so and so and so. It may be the doctor that delivered you, but you know what have you. But the idea is she going to let that go to her head, or is she going to, from what we see, is she going to keep a low key profile, you know, and be Donna, just Donna, and let Vince be Vince? Is he going to be intimidated by the circles in which she maneuvers? You know, she probably be in academia. He looks more vocational, as far as you know. Like I said, he was a former police officer, as y'all said. Is he going to be intimidated by that? And you know, I think that all those factors and variables determine whether they go from here. Of
Mhm.
course, we're watching the show 2 years later, but uh, I think really, like I said earlier, that having a child that time that just X that off. Maybe we could do long term. That might be the happy compromise, the happy medium for them. That's what I see.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, so she
Any,
says she has to be referred to as Dr. Donna on the YouTube channel. Okay, that was
oh,
oh wow.
really?
Okay, mm, okay,
Mr.
all right.
Jaguar, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was the one who just posted that comment. I was on another YouTube channel.
Oh,
I
ah,
think it was I think it was Shade in the City, and she had joined the chat and she said, "You can call me whatever you want as long as you call me doctor in front," because she had just finished her dissertation. I think is what she had said. Um, so that is going to be part of um, that's going to be part of how you have to address her, as she said that. She said so. As I said before, I think these two can make it, but it
Yeah,
may
she's not gonna force him to
it
call
may
her
be
doctor and all
difficult.
that stuff. She's just Vince. It's damn near Kevin Samuels. He ain't playing none of that. Said she knows that, so she ain't gonna come at him like that.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, she likes him, but I mean, she's just probably saying that in general when she was talking to us on that particular YouTube channel. But again, as I said, these two I know for sure. As we saw, make it to the end. I had predicted that, but it is gonna be given Vince's personality, it's gonna be tough if she's going to keep him on a clock and she's going to be saying, well, it's been 3 weeks and we should be here, and it's been 4 months and 5 days we should be here, it's been 6 months we should. I don't think that's going to last. It's possible, but I just highly doubt it.
Mhm.
I I think thank you for that, Mr. Jaguar. Stay tuned. I think you're saying something that's very important in your in the comment section. You said in past seasons, someone like Donna would have been eliminated early on in the season. This season, it defied all expectations. That is a very good point. We've
Well,
seen we've seen people with doctorate degrees be eliminated early on. Go ahead. You were going to say something, Sean?
Well, I think just to what Ron has said in times past, if I can remember correctly, if I'm not, please forgive me, Ron, for putting words in your mouth. That yes, Donna has been on the bottom at least twice for the elimination. However, if somebody has you in their top as a top, then basically they keep you on. So that's probably how she has stayed on. Somebody had to mention that she's my top somewhere off, or it could be like production that we need her. We need her. Okay, let's push her forward. Let's push her forward because I've seen throughout this whole season that they changed up her dress wear. Because if you notice, when she first came out, she was looking like a little schoolgirl,
I noticed that too,
and
Sean.
over the episodes, it got a little bit more, a little bit
Skimpier
more.
and skimpier and
Yeah,
skimpier.
yeah. So somehow
Yeah.
I think that dynamic, she was an evolving character to this point, and that's how she made it to the end. Not because of her quote unquote personality, that she was not so much into this man, that man, that man, that man, that man, but because of this. This is the one we want to mold into an image, a particular image.
Real quick, and Elsie, maybe you can speak to this real quick. I thought that Donna would have been eliminated for early on in the season when she approached Darius and basically called him out and told him what she thought of him and what she also claimed that all of the other women on the show thought of him. What did you think about that, Elsie?
I think that was a miscalculation on her part. She should not have said that. I wouldn't have said that to any man in his face, especially when the men are in power. That was not well thought out. But Donna did have other representation. Remember, even if Darius was screaming loud, Donna, 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 then Steven, Vince, and I forgot the other gentleman that still liked Donna. So she was semi-protected in all of that. So, it was a miscalculation that could have got her tossed if she did not have other connections.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Who was the third person? What did he look like? That wasn't Xavier.
It might have been Chris. It might have been Chris.
It could have been Chris, but
Chris the chef, maybe.
Right,
Yeah,
but then
so.
it could be a correct calculation because production wouldn't get rid of her if she feels that strongly about Darius, and they would want to cause friction.
Okay. Any more thoughts? Ryan, have you went yet? Have you had your say?
I did, but basically, like I said, I think Donna has been very intentional throughout the whole process and really looking for a man and really looking for love. And I think it paid off for her and being genuine, especially, like I said, when some of the guys, some of the women have been kind of accused of being a little rehearsed, a little too polished this season. Having her that was actually really looking for a man and had a timeline and really came here for a relationship and didn't really seem like she was trying to sell any other career or anything else like that. She just really was, like the show said, ready to love. Got her to the end and got her a man out the deal. So I commend Donna. Good job.
Good job, Donna. Okay. What we're gonna move to next is we've got wait a minute. No, we'll save them for last. I promised you would see it now. Sean, you need to move over a little bit to the right or to the left. These are Bellows orthopedic shoes, I believe.
Ain't got bad feet.
Okay, I'm not saying he does. I'm not making fun. Look, I got my own mobility issues, and some people are saying that Dom is older than her stage age. I say that Bello is right behind her, right there with her. He's right there with her. But in any
older
case,
than 38. Bro, older than 38.
You know he is. He took off his shapewear midway through. Wait a minute, Sean. Listen, he took off his shapewear midway through the season too, because he had a flat abs when we met him on week 1, and then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, come on. He had male shapewear on.
It's all the alcohol that he's been drinking. That's what that is.
It's the alcohol. What was that? Is that you?
Yeah, all that beer.
Well, wait a minute. I thought he was Muslim. He's not drinking any alcohol. None at all.
Like you said, some of these people cherry pick what they want to do and what they don't want to do.
I've seen on some episodes it looked like he was drinking alcohol. Remember I brought that up a
Mm,
few times.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but definitely, I don't know what he did. He might have been on my porterhouse steak that I was supposed to have. Maybe that's what got him there. But I'm just saying, the men are always talking about the ladies. Meanwhile, over here on the right, Dominique has taken totally good care of herself. No matter how old you think she is, she look good with the T on the end. Okay, so he gets her up there on the rooftop, and he tells her, his feelings for her. They've been rocking together. And I tell you what surprised me, for him to be Muslim, for him to not go along with public displays of affection. It's mighty funny when they went to hugging, his hands dropped down and he grabbed both of her cheeks, one with each hand. I was like, oh my God.
Not for the first time.
Your mother's gonna see this, Bello. Bella, your mother is going to see. Your daughter's mother is going to see this. You just causing havoc, wreaking havoc wherever you go, whatever is going on. I don't know. Um, Jr., what are your thoughts? I'm sorry, what were you saying about these
Yeah,
two?
I was saying, listen, he grabbed it not for the first time. He's probably all up in the cabin grabbing it. We've seen PDA between them before, so he's been here before, man. And I think from the thing that interested me the most is she actually said, she found love. She actually used the L word. We go together now. She feels like she in love and all of that. Um, so they've been invested from day one, and he was keeping his connections around till late. We do know that. Um, but yeah, like she, they actually, I think they could work well together because, um, how they've clicked so well so far, despite their differences, whatever they are. Like they've clicked, and they've been the most solid couple throughout. There hasn't been a crossword said between them, really. So obviously we see the clips of the reunion, which we'll discuss later. But up until this point, this is a solid connection, and I was happy for them.
Yes, 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 yes. We're all very happy for them until we get to the end. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. LMV, what happened to the park with the bridge? They don't have any in Detroit. Yes, we do. We have some very beautiful parks with bridges, with with water fountains, all kinds of things going on. I think that what happened was, as I was looking at, because I was kind of wondering too, I think what they chose were places where they could actually get production in and not have all the people walking through the scenes, if that makes sense, right? You're talking about a public park or a public place. I think what they did was just picked the parks where you didn't have that type of traffic so that they could film uninterrupted. That's what I think happened, but I can't be 100% certain, but that is what I do believe is what happened. I'm sorry, who was going next on this? Was that you, JR?
No, I basically just went. So
Okay. And okay,
next.
Ron, Ron, is that you? Are you next?
Yeah, I can go next. Like I said, it's something about this couple where I just thought it was kind of a TV relationship because I remember when Vince and Dom got into it, that would have been what my cast, the men of my cast would have done. We would have huddled up and said, okay, this girl was married and dated who? And she was on what TV shows was she on? Basketball Wives, stuff like that. Oh, she ain't serious. And we wouldn't have messed with her. Unless you said, "Oh, okay, she's going to be one of the big dogs here. Look at how she dressed up like that. I'm going to partner up with her because we look good together, and I'm gonna take this thing to the end, and it's going to be good for both our images and things of that nature." And then through there, they got a little bond and a good, chemistry and friendship. But that stuff never lasts. It's not built on anything. So, like I said, I don't see it going too far past the end of the season. But the fact of the matter is, this was their goal, and they achieved it.
They did. They made it to the end. They made it to the end. And so for our final couple on our park, or actually Michigan train station, which I was talking offline to JR and explaining to him that that train station has been used as the backdrop for many, many Hollywood film. So they got a chance to use this famous backdrop for uh, Ashley and Darius is for their scene. But guys, before they got to this kiss, there was lots of tears and lots of doubt from Ashley. I want to hear from the only female commentator up here on the panel today, and that's LC. What did you think? Why was Ashley like crying so? And what was the do you feel like she was conflicted in her decision? What do you think?
I think she was conflicted. I think Ashley had to come to terms, and she said it. She's like, I don't want to feel like I'm blacksliding. I don't want to feel like you don't have my back. You're always correcting me. She doesn't want to feel like she's less than,
Mm-hmm.
because of the age difference. And I don't know if Darius understands that he may be trying to help her, but the way that she's receiving it is that she is not all woman that he wants to have, and he's seeing things in her that he doesn't like. But she also says that she is reverting back to who she was before therapy, before now. She said, she says she's been popping off more than usual. So she's having a little bit of a wrestling match as to, if I accept this man, am I going back to the girl that I don't want to be anymore? Or am I accepting this man and I'm moving forward and being a different person that I could still, like and love myself? It just, I liked her speech because many people have this conflict. Do I move forward with this person or not? What does this person bring out in me? Is it the best me I can be with him? And she crying and fussing and stuff, and I'm like, the fact that I'm having this kind of battle, it would have been a
Mm-hmm.
no for me, dog, in my Randy Jackson voice. It would have
Yeah.
been a no for me.
Yes. No, dog. No, 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 no. Because I feel like in the moment when I'm watching this, I don't even feel like she's acting at all. I feel like this is very emotional and very real for her. I feel like, unfortunately, she has decided to not listen to her body. Her body and her woman's intuition is telling her this is not a good fit for you. Just the fact that when she was earlier this week, when she was with her brother and Darius, and she was rolling her eyes and looking so sad and small, like it was almost like she was shrinking at the table before she got to that brisket. Because then that was a whole nother story. But Ashley was actually shrinking because of the way he treats her, the way he doesn't listen to her. And I feel like she's not listening to her body and her intuition, which is telling her no. This is a, like you said, Elsie, this is a no, dog. This is not what it is. This is not what it is. If you've just been with somebody for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks and they're already trying to change you and they're already disliking, you guys are already going back and forth and breaking up, and he's over here talking to Ashante now and all this kind of stuff, that's toxic. Like, I don't like these relationships where they're on again, off again, on again. We're not talking this week, but next week we back lovey-dovey. That is not healthy. And I feel like Ashley is fighting with her past. And that's what she was saying about the backsliding. She's probably had several other relationships with manipulative men who are trying to get her to be what they want her to be. And that's why she responded to that so-called sister when she said, no, I don't want to be cooking and cleaning all day. I'm not a maid. Guys, JR, what are
Mhm.
your thoughts about this
No,
couple?
I think you could be right about that. I think, and they'll say that I think you're both. I share both of your opinions. I think how emotional she was, that is a cause for concern because she's very conflicted to the point where it's bringing tears. And I think for her to choose him after all of that, there's a big risk that how she's feeling will continue to come back into play if they continue their relationship. Um, I think that, as we said, they are at two different stages in life, and we have seen some turbulence between them, some very rocky exchanges, the differing view on how relationships look. And then on top of that, all the stuff that we said Darius comes with, and she doesn't come with nearly as much stuff. And how does she navigate that and keep
Mm-hmm.
her emotions in check? If she's self-confessed, ready to pop off at the mouth or walk off or whatever, I think Darius is the type of guy that
Mm-hmm.
could test her patience quite a lot. So, and test her resolve in the relationship as well. So I don't, like I said, I'm happy that we got a couple that made it, but I think this is mainly a physical attraction thing, more than compatibility and alignment thing. So I don't know, by the time the reunion comes around, I'll be very surprised if they are together still. Very surprised.
And Ron.
Yeah, I think what we saw was confliction. Like I could tell that she liked him
Mm-hmm.
at one point, and the wheels kind of fell off the rails. But you got to understand that Darius ain't the type of person that's going to go up there on that bridge wherever they are without already having a conversation with the girl that he's going to choose and say, "Hey, look, it's going to go this way, and it better go this way." You ain't about to embarrass him on no He gonna let her know. So she's completely like, I want to say no, but I can't. This dude called me up on the phone and let me know. It ain't going down that way.
You think pressure was
you
applied.
want you want to do what's best for you. You better come over here and act all, you know what I mean? This, and this. This is my image that we trying to get together here. And yours is part of this too. So, we got to do it like this. And she's young and he's giving her the play. And even though, sometimes when you like, hey, I don't know if I should go along with the play, you feel forced to it because, like I said, don't think these people don't got phones. Don't think she ain't get a conversation 15 minutes up to this scene being shot saying, okay, stick with that program. I got rid of the other girl for you. I told y'all don't get rid of Ashante. I came back for you. This is part of the plan. It's part of the deal. You better stick with it. And that's where you see the real convection from. Like, man, I don't really want to be tied to this male, but we've already decided we're gonna roll like this, and I don't want to disappoint him, or I don't want him being mad, or I don't know how he's gonna react, or what he gonna trash me with. It's a lot of those type of feelings, but you could tell that he didn't really want to, be tied with him at the end of this. And for all I've been hearing after this, that's been 100% the case. I think she wouldn't be tied to that man.
And she's been on social media saying as much. She said,
"What
was it? Elle said like a week or two ago, like I'll be so glad to be untied to this man. I don't know what."
She don't want to be tied to him. She don't want to be tied to him. She don't want her image, her personality, show anything on him. But then she also, like I said, he's smooth talking. He tell you, hey, yo, I get it. We had some ups and downs, but we got to make it to this bridge, make this scene look good because we almost to the finish line, and our images are part of this and this and that. And we got to, what I mean? He's smooth talking it and let her know, okay, don't even worry. I'm gonna get rid of the other girl, and this is the plan. I'm gonna come to you. So when I do that, you don't pull no fast, what I mean? No deception and stuff, but we gonna have some problems. You know what I mean? And he kept it G on it because, like I said, he's about his image. You don't wear the furs and do all that stuff like that if your image ain't part of this. You weren't ready for TV and things of that nature. So he ain't gonna let her mess up that. So she's conflicted and saying, man, I don't want to be tied to this man, but I don't want to deal with the repercussions for making him look stupid on this damn bridge. But knows what I do.
I never thought of that. I never did. You know what? I've always said he's manipulative, but it never occurred to me that he would manipulate her to say yes. But you know what?
He's making them calls.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're not together anymore. But like the only thing that really mattered to what Ryan was saying, Mr. Jaguar, the only thing that really mattered was his image in the moment and on this syndicated TV show, right? That's the only thing that really mattered. Sean,
and we're in the group. He got the publicist. He got every family member. I mean, this dude got a whole. I've never seen anybody with this much parade of people on hired call or whatever like that. Capping for one. You know what I mean? Like this show don't need all that. You know what I mean? This ain't that type of show where you need all that, or you know what I mean? Like it's a big overkill. And it's set up that way, you know what I mean? So obviously you wanted something from the show, some image, popularity, stuff like that. And if you're an actor and you whatever you're trying to do, I guess it goes along with that. But this is not really the show to jump your acting, singing career. It ain't. Yeah, it's really not. Like I said, the two guys that we seen to do TV after this with Mike in season 1 and Clifton. I met both of those guys. Those guys did not need Ready to Love to get on the TV screen. They were the most charismatic, to look, naturally, the guys out of every
Yes,
guy I've
so
met all
can
season,
we
they
call
stand
maybe
out.
somebody pass me a fan. Somebody pass me a fan. Yeah, Mike Bless and Clifton, they
They
had
stand out. They
a
get something when you meet them in a
charisma
room. It's something about them
and a
where
look
you
that
feel the presence. You know what I mean?
The
It's
force
you know
of
what
a
I mean. I tell
God.
them all the time, like you guys. Some people have it, some people don't. You guys are the guys. Are the only two guys that had it. You know what I mean? And I met all the guys. You know what I mean? It's something about y'all that says, "Hey, put that guy on a TV screen." But yeah, there is. If you got it, great. If you don't, you can't fake it. You can't dress it. You can't do anything like that. You even have that type of charisma, personality, stature, or you don't. You know what I mean? And like I said, going overboard on this show is probably gonna make it worse, not better, if if you don't already have it. So that's just part of the
out,
situation.
Ron, outside of your family member that was on the show, have you met any of the other cast so far yet?
I'm not. I
The
mean, I'm
Detroit
gonna go
cast?
down for the. I'm probably go to Detroit for the reunion, and meet everybody and stuff. And like I said, it seemed like I said, I'm proud of Detroit. I think they did an excellent job.
I think they did too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they really stood up. I think this would be a season that it won't be one of the forgotten seasons. It'll be a season that's remembered, and I think they all did a great job on as cast mates and what they do. And like I said, we don't know any of these people. So like I said, we're saying I use the word character. They all characters were great, honest, cool, entertaining. They did great. Until I, get to know a person in public and firsthand and things of that nature, to me, they're on here playing their character. And then,
Okay.
when I meet the real person, then yeah, oh, that's D, that's Darius, oh, that's Bello, you know what I mean? It's different, you know what I mean? Like I said, but until I meet them in person, like I said, I met most. Um, yeah, yeah, you guys played your character, whatever y'all did, you know what I mean? It was entertaining, it was fast paced, it moved real quick, you know what I mean? And
Lots
it's,
of talking
it was
points.
memorable. It
Memorable
was
and
memorable.
lots of good talking points this season too.
It's a good
Ron.
talking point. So yeah, they made they did good for Detroit, for the city that I'm from, and yeah, proud of every single one that was on that cast.
They represented well. I agree with you. Sean, did you have anything to say before we move on to the
Yeah,
what's next week?
I think from what we've seen,
Hmm.
there's a reason why we never saw that. It was a date, but we never saw the interaction between Darius and Dominique, or we never
Mhm.
saw Darius approach Lauren. I think he from what his portrayed allegedly, as they say, portrayed on TV, that he goes for the younger women that he can maybe mold. Shantae and
Mm,
Ashley around the same
yep.
age, and so it just seems like the experience with Ashley is not there. Ashante may have the experience. She's out and about in the streets, like she said, and she might go to cocktail bars and what have you. But Ashley, she seems to be in that world that is right for the molding of a person like Darius. And to answer your question that you asked earlier in this segue, sometimes there's a conflict between the familiar and the foreign, you know.
Hmm. Yep.
And Darius was familiar to her. She wants to reject it, but I think when he had her, oh, he got me a fur. I know he loved me. My man got me
Mhm.
a fur.
Yep.
you know,
Let her drive the car
yeah,
as
let her
well.
drive the car. She let her drive. He let her drive
Mhm.
the car. So that's ownership now. Let you drive my car now. Now we go together now.
Mhm.
Like Ron said, we're gonna make this look
Together.
good. We're gonna make this look good. I don't just let anybody
Mm,
drive my car. So hey,
that's true.
hey, and I don't believe this brother. I don't know this brother from a can of paint, but I
Hmm.
don't believe this brother drives a shabby car. And so well, I let you drive my car, right? When your car was down, and so on, so on, I let you drive my car. I probably flew you a couple of dollars for gas money, what have you. You say you're running low, hey, we're gonna make this thing look good, So, and that's how a little cage is built, one increment at a time, And then next thing you
Mm,
know, the person's in prison,
right.
So she can't say no. She can't say, well, I'm pivoting. I'm going to go to somebody else right now, or I'm not going to say no on decision day. I can give all these tears and I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, and then he said, look. I see. Look. I mean, talking like a father to a daughter. Look, I
It
see you.
was. It was. You could see
You know.
the imbalance the imbalance of power. It looked like for me. It looked like an
Yeah,
imbalance of
it
power.
is.
El said any more thoughts on that note about these two and what Sean just said or anything like that?
No, I just wish them well. I know the well ain't gonna be that deep, that they're gonna be done before the reunion.
He said, well, ain't gonna be that deep.
Right, right. I don't think it will be. But he's liable to put it to work though. Okay, guys, what did you think about for next week coming up? We've got is it Nicole and Ed?
Yeah, that's Nicole right there. Yeah.
Okay, and Nicole is saying that she tried to call someone. Now, I don't know who that is typing, but that's very loud for my ears. Is that you, Sean, or is that LC?
No, it's not. That's not me. That's not
Oh,
me.
okay.
That's not me.
No, that was me.
Oh, okay.
Just
So
remind
here,
me.
so just mute your mic if you want to, and then when you come up, you know how to do that, right, Mr. Jaguar? But anyway, so I was saying that Nicole and Ed are there now. We're on the reunion part one, and I'm not sure. Do you know, El Cid, who they're talking about? That she says she called and he had told her to call after the show was over or whatever. Are you familiar with who she's talking about? Because I'm totally in the dark, but I know you know almost everything.
In this case, I hope it ain't Ed. I
Well,
hope
I
she's
mean,
not talking about Ed.
well, I don't know. It doesn't. No. Well, here's the thing, and I don't know. You know how the editing works. So now they're showing us she's talking about somebody. So is that Ed or is that Chris sitting next to her? Isn't that
That,
Ed
that's
right
that's
there?
a that's
That's
a
Ed
that's
sitting
a
next to
that's a
her. She could be
Okay.
talking about Devon. She could be because that was her other strong connection when she said, "I don't like you talking to any of the other women."
Mm-hmm.
But the ladies had a reaction. Dom said, "Ouch,"
That's what I
and
wanted to
Ashley
do.
was like, "He was never interested in you."
Ever.
So,
Yes. Now that's the part. Go ahead. Go from there.
so I don't know. It sounded like Ed because Ed was never interested in her from college to now, and it just like Nicole just don't read the memo. I don't know
Oh.
what's going on. He
Oh my
saw you
goodness.
across the room and did not approach you. If that happens, that man is not interested in you. All Ed kept talking about was her red dress. He liked how you looked. He ain't interested in Nicole at all.
Mm. Oh, okay, okay. That could be in the private chat, but Jaguar is saying that I have left him out. Jaguar, go ahead. What are you saying? What are you saying about this couple right here?
No, no, I was just saying it could have been them, but obviously we're not sure because of the editing, how they clipped it. You can't be too sure. But El said is right. It could have been the other person that she spoke about because um of how they interacted during the process. But I do think she got a raw deal though, because I really did think she came to find love, but I
Hmm.
think she ended up seeing Ed and she just got the nostalgia of how she felt back in college, and that kind of diverted her from the actual process. But I think she was genuine and she did actually come to find love.
Yeah, I think she was genuine too, and I agree with everything you said on those points, Mr. Jaguar. She got so caught up in seeing her college crush, which is best I could call it. It wasn't even a relationship, from apparently from what she said herself, that she forgot that there were other men who might really have been truly interested in her. I think she could have talked to Devon. Xavier. There's a plethora of guys that she could have talked to. She could have talked to Steven.
Well, she did actually talk to Devon. Remember, she did actually make the comment that she doesn't like anybody talking to him, right? So she was
Yeah.
actually connected to him to some extent. But Devon was too blinded by Dominique and the flattery he was receiving in order for her to stay in his good books type thing at the time. And he took his eye off the ball with Nicole for sure, and Shannon as well. But so I think Nicole is probably talking about Devon in this instance. And I do think that her and Ed did try to connect after the show as well.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Um. Ron, is Ron still here?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. All right, Ron. Any thoughts about this couple? And I mean, I'm sorry, about her, about Nicole, and who she might have been talking about? Because I think she looks quite fetching here. I don't know about anybody else, but I've always thought that she was one of the understated women of the Detroit Seasons cast. I think she looks very beautiful and she seems very sweet and unproblematic.
Yeah, and I think she reached out to Ed after the show or the other way around.
Okay.
And they probably discuss some things and probably discuss the reunion. If I'm Ed and I'm rewatching the stuff and I see her making that comment about Devon, I'm now turned off. I thought you were crying and doing all that stuff for me. You know what I mean? To see you do it for another man, and you were supposed to be all
Oh, that would
in.
be a turn off.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm now turned off for that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, to me, the Devon thing didn't make a lot of sense. He was over there talking about my 13 connections and playing fake Denzel at
13 can only
making
10
no
women,
gestures.
so I don't know
Gestures.
what the other three were.
Yeah, and kind of using her, as that aspect into her vote. But yeah, she was for Ed at the beginning. She did all the tears and all that stuff at the elimination. Yeah, the best thing would have been for her to reach out to him after and stuff and see if they could actually get a real date on their own, because production probably purposely wouldn't be giving them dates together. Um, so yeah, it gave her an opportunity to kind of do that. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know what the premise of it is, but it has to be between those two guys. You know what I mean? But I think more of it saying, yeah, I gave it a chance after we left. We went on a few dates and it didn't work out. I think it's basically what you're gonna see. And she
Yeah.
might be actually finding out the reason why it didn't work out or what actually happened on those dates stuff after on the reunion. She might not have knew before.
Okay. Okay. JR, did we get you in here yet? Did you already comment on this? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I commented already. Yeah.
Okay, I gave my rotation a different shift, so it threw me off. Okay, all right. Just a couple more things to go before we wrap up and get out of here, and everybody can enjoy their hopefully warm, comfortable Sunday evening. Um okay, so there's a lot of other things going on, but I could only get so much in terms of clips. But the couple that we noticed that started early on with Dominique and Bello, you see Bello here. He's dressed in his traditional African garb, I believe, looking very handsome, and she's Dominique's got plenty of skin out, so she's, they seem to be kind of matched up. But she basically starts going off and saying that just a couple nights before the reunion that he was in her bed, but that then he told her that she is not wife material. What did you think about that, El Cid?
I'm sorry, about Dom and Bello.
Yeah, about Diamond Bello and about her saying basically to Tommy that, Tommy saying, you're saying everything in past tense. And she says, well, yeah, he was just over my house. We were together 2 days ago.
Right.
But he told me that I'm not wife material.
I need to know from y'all from Michigan, is standing on business a term that is used regularly in that region?
No,
Because I'm
no, I don't.
tired of the standing on business about me.
No, I don't think
Okay.
it's used like that. But go ahead.
Okay. I just she's having the same issue. And the thing is that when she said, I need you to stand on business and to tell me that I'm not wife material, basically if that is true to edit, that means that you are good enough for a good time, but not good
Mhm.
enough for a long time. And,
Ooh.
he has proven that throughout the process. And I don't know why, she is thinking that, he wouldn't treat her the same way that he treated the other ladies. So again, you need to pay attention, or she needs to pay attention to how a man treats other ladies, whether he interested
Mhm.
or not. And then it will tell you how he will treat you when it's your turn, if it's your turn. But the
Ooh.
standing on business about me, she had the same issue with Devon. She had the same issue with Bello. I wonder if she had the same issue with the two men that are tattooed. I just hope Bello is not tattooed on her by this point for her to need another cover up. But
Ooh, not cover up.
right, another cover up that Vince gonna see through. But here's the thing: at some point, I'm gonna start looking at Dom You are choosing these men. So I need you to stand on business about you. Okay? Please, at some point.
Excellent point. Excellent point. But didn't we kind of know something was going awry already early on, like the last couple of weeks? Her struggles with Lauren, her mean girl comments toward Lauren. Didn't we all kind of know that something was going on with Dominique? Because why was she feeling so insecure? If she had really locked down Brother Man, she wouldn't have had to feel insecure about whether or not Lauren was at the date to meet the family and met, Bello's brother. She wouldn't have had to be why this and why that with Lauren, because it's ultimately
Well,
the man is going to decide what he's going to do anyway. You can't you putting down another woman has nothing to do with the relationship that you're supposedly in with him.
I think that those two, Dominique and Lauren, were the two women that most men were drawn to, and she saw
Okay.
Lauren as her biggest competition. She saw Lauren as her
Okay.
biggest competition, and to get rid of her, that was their goal, I think. And I think that's what satisfied. And I think that's the reason why Lauren lives rent free in her mind, according to the show. But like El said was saying, and I was going to say the same thing when talking about stand on business. She said the same thing to Devon when he met her friends. And now I need somebody to stand on business about me, blah, blah, blah. But it seemed like it's a little bit more amped up from what we see on this clip when she's talking to Bello, what have you. And then, of course, the clip which tells Devon that Devon met my parents, FaceTime and what have you. Then she said the same thing about Bello. Bello met my parents through FaceTime. So it's a whole lot of redundant conversation between those two men. And there's something Ron said once again that I think that adequately applies. There's some he was talking about men, but I think in this case with her, some people will overpromise but underdeliver. I mean, and she did not overpromise anything. She knew how to maneuver in just a way to stay on the show. I think, and I don't think they were going to vote her off anyway. What have you? And she gave them a little play, just a little tease, little appetizer. No, not the main course. I think no appetizer, main course, what have you, and the dessert afterwards. Usually
the way he was grabbing those cheeks on top of the roof, but, I guess that might have been dessert. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ron,
I mean, because she was not going to go that far with Cardi. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ron, what are your thoughts on this? You probably have a little more insight into this than any of us here.
I guess I don't know insight, but I mean, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, Bello's a very particular person. What he wants, I ain't gonna use the word cocky, but you know what I mean. He
definitely confident. Say that.
Yeah, he want what he want, and I thought the thing that was gonna throw this off was the age difference too. Nobody really brought that up. I can see Bello with a woman
that he wanted, the children, the son that he wants to have, and that she's not able to do that, right?
Well, I just the age different anyway. Guys that are that confident is the word you want to use, and that particular usually don't want to date an older woman. They just don't. Let's keep it real. Like I hate to put the ages thing in, but they will sleep with older women all day long. So, so this might have been a one where I'll get down with it, but I don't want to marry or be attached to a woman that's this many years older than me and stuff like that. When I can give me a younger woman, you know what I mean? That I would rather deal with, and I think that's what he was meaning, or he wanted a woman a little more conducive to his program, a little more submissive, a little stuff like that. Dom ain't she gonna walk through her own drum. She's already seasoned and been through everything and stuff like that. So
term marriages and everything, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, we got the attraction thing there. She's attracted to me. He's a little older. We having sexual chemistry. But to a woman, that means everything. To a man, that might not mean nothing.
Oxtails. Don't forget those oxtails.
Yeah, man, it might not mean nothing. It might mean, yeah, you know what I mean? We link up from time to time. But the woman's there thinking like, hey, We
that
were
it's going to be
intimate. Like,
something more serious,
yeah,
right?
this means something, right? You wouldn't, and we
Mm.
already seen it because of the
I
one.
already got a whole baby mama, so that ought to tell you something how he
Yeah,
feels
tell you that he
with
don't really, he
intimacy.
doesn't put a lot of disturbing to that. Damn, sex is sex,
Mm-hmm.
and if he wants it, he wants it, and that's just how he thinks about it. Nothing wrong with it. He's a grown man. He can do it that way. But if a woman is saying, "Hey, if I give my body up to a man, it means we go together. It means everything. It means this," and he doesn't operate on that same frequency, then y'all got to have a conversation. I think nothing was really said. She gets assumed that once
Okay.
I start, yeah, having this at my bed, that we're going places. We're going down here, this and that. And he said, "Wait a minute, we ain't discussed the fact that you older. You know what I mean? I don't, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm feeling,
your
yeah,
fertility is limited, right? Okay.
yeah. And not even
And the
that. What it,
fact, what? No, no, no. With that, okay. And then, but wait a minute. And then even the fact. Here's the thing I noticed about Bella. I think that I picked up this week that I hadn't really felt as strongly about. Bello doesn't seem to me to be the kind of guy that can confront things and be honest. Like, let's
yeah, he
say
can't. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Vince may not say it the way you want to hear it, but Vince
But you're
gonna
gonna
tell
get
you
it.
like you said, you're gonna get it right, right, right. Bello, on the other hand, like even when they were away at the retreat, Bello seems to kind of shy away from any type of confrontation. He's looking around while he's talking to Lauren. He's looking around for, where is Dominique at? Where's Dominique at? Like those type of things. So he's not going to be a very direct and straightforward guy. That's what I
But some
finally
things
figured out
can't
about him
can't be
this week.
said, Aubrey. Y'all get
He's
mad.
not going
Y'all
to
get
do
mad at
that.
me when
And
I get an
what?
opinion.
Hmm.
I said when
I'm
the
sorry.
guys need a real locker room opinion to women, y'all can't take it. So like some things he can't say. So let's say they have been
Yeah,
intimate.
but you know what? But mhm.
Yeah, they have
I
been
feel
intimate.
like, yeah,
It
you're
just
right.
ain't hit
We may
like
not.
that. And he like, I can't be married. I can't marry her the rest of my life or be with her the rest of my life. The sex is okay, but I didn't want okay sex for the rest of my life. I wanted some
Mhm.
some blockbuster stuff. So it's cool for
Mm.
now, but I ain't about to tie my whole hitch to this. He can't say that to a woman, so he's just gonna react.
No, you know what? But at Dom being more seasoned out of all the ladies on the show this season, I think that the trick of it is though too is to be willing to ask the questions and also look at the behavior, look at the actions he's showing you. And like I said, that's the reason to me why she took out her frustration on Lauren, because she wants to be able to control this man. But none of us can control another person. None of us can. You know, so
Especially,
but
yeah, when he thinks he's when you're both kind of superficial, and y'all both trying to be the
mhm.
star of the
Oh,
situation.
y'all are peacocks, right?
Yeah, and he when by the time he gets to the reunion, he's feeling even more.
Mm. Anything else, Ryan? I'm gonna get over here to Jr. Ryan, okay. Jr. What's your thoughts about it? What's going on
Mm.
here?
Well, that breakup seems pretty recent because she said, 2 days ago he was in the bed. So, um, they lasted quite a long time right up until the reunion, pretty much. And then, but I do get the impression that she's going to be very pissed because she has shared her body with him, hoping to have a relationship. I think she had more feelings invested than he had. Um, and yeah, like she's naturally going to be upset. And we've seen her flip a few times. So I'm not surprised that she's going to be flipping out on this reunion. I don't think he's going to have much to say in response, to be honest, because let's be real. He's been called out by many commentators and reviewers like ourselves for not necessarily locking her down as seriously as many people or even Dominique would like. So I think he's going to sit there and just take the heat, and they've gone their separate ways pretty much in time for the reunion. I think she would really have liked to have had a united front and shown up at the reunion like still on good terms, still in the relationship, but it
Right.
didn't happen for her.
Didn't happen for her. That's a very good point, too. You bring up Jr. That it stayed that way. They apparently, it sounds as if we will have to see this week coming up. It sounds as if they were together. If the show was a year and a half ago filmed before we see it, then that was a good little stretch, because a lot of couples don't make it past the 3-6 month mark. Mr. Jaguar, any thoughts about what we're going to see next week with these two, and why she seems to be so hurt?
Well, as I said, as I predicted, they would be broken up at the reunion. But she, I guess she really thought she could play the long game, so to speak, with Bello, and they would have something that would be meaningful afterwards that she could hold up and say, "See, we made it to the reunion, and we're still together after the show has ended." But it just wasn't to be. As I said, they weren't compatible, given the fact that he's insistent on having another child, especially a son, and that religion thing. The moment she snuck it in just before she met her parents, told me
Hmm.
that, as I said, that was a setup for failure. That's something that it should have been said weeks in advance before they met each other on both sides, to let them know this is what you're going to be dealing with.
Right.
And I just don't think it wasn't really anything surprising for me. I guess, as I said, I expected two women at least to crash out in the union. And as told somebody earlier, I'm not sure if it was Elsa directly, I'm upping it to three. So I think it's her, I think Lauren,
I think we
and
had this
more than likely,
conversation offline. But go ahead.
we did. Well, it's probably you then, yeah. And I think it's probably going to be either Ashanti or Ashley afterwards.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there does seem to be like there's going to be some crash outs, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Speaking of the non-emotional men that are on the cast, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Darius and Vince go at it a little bit too while we're there. But either may not be reunion part one, it may be in reunion part two. But I think there's going to be some simmering angst from the past. That's what I'm predicting. Um, any other predictions for the reunion part one, guys? El Cid,
I'm,
any
go-
predictions?
I don't know about prediction for the reunion one. I see
Hmm.
those dark horse couples. I think maybe Xavier with what's that young lady name that was the attorney?
Diamond.
Diamond,
Diamond,
yeah.
Diamond, Diamond, Diamond. He took her number. So I don't know what's been going afterwards,
No, he
off the
didn't.
show, what have you. Um,
I don't think
um,
she's on the reunion either, because
of
I
course,
think they counted only 19 people.
oh, okay. And rest in peace,
Oh,
Richie. We know Richie has passed on. Rest in peace, Richie.
yeah.
Um,
Rest in peace.
um, but maybe I would not be shocked with Lauren and Ed. I know
Mm.
they do a podcast together, but I would not be surprised. I would not be shocked at
Oh,
those
maybe
two.
they did a little dating. Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah,
we do see Steven in the green room, and Lauren
yeah,
and Steven
yeah.
saying, "Okay, everybody, be quiet. This is very interesting." And then you
Uh,
see a cut where Lauren is giving Vince the evil eye almost. So I don't know what
flabbergasted.
that's all
Yeah,
about.
flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I don't know whether Bello was on the stage then and saying something about he had a hard decision to remove her, or okay, so did not they don't okay. And then of course, I would not be surprised if it was Donna and Steven together.
Mm, okay. Okay. Jr. Any thoughts and predictions about the reunion that you want to add before we get out of
Mhm.
here?
I do think we're going to see a dark horse connection, maybe one or two. By dark horse, I'm saying like a connection that was
Hmm.
formed after they stopped filming, that
Okay.
we didn't see coming. Um, Not sure who that is. It could be Donna and Steven. That's a good shout. I think um, I think that's the main one. I also think Nicole and Ed do something, but I'm not sure how far it goes. But I also think there may be somebody that doesn't turn up at the reunion, and I'm not sure who that's going to be. Whether it's Christina or yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be Christina, but I think there will be somebody that doesn't necessarily turn up.
Oh, I
Um,
think Christina's there, if I recall from the pictures. Elsie,
the,
would you
Yeah,
agree?
Christina
the,
is
the,
there.
the
Diamond
reason
is
why I
not there.
say that, is because there is some simmering beef between some of the classmates at the moment, and I think that's what we're going to see come to. We're going to see a little bit of it. I'm not sure how much, but it seems to be between Lauren, Christina, Shannon, and Dominique.
Wow.
So a lot of them have a problem with Lauren, but Lauren and Christina also have a problem too.
Wow.
So yeah, something's going to go on with that quartet, and I don't know, obviously, how it's going to pan out. So I'm expecting to see some fireworks.
Devon want his money back for that massage.
Good Lord. Good Lord. Brother Sean Stokes. I gotta talk to you
I want my
offline.
$180. I want my quid pro quo. This or that. Hey, look, if I gave you $180, you said you need 300. I gave you 180.
Guys, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for hanging out with us, and Sean Stokes. Want to thank Ron, who skipped out so he could be with his lovely, beautiful daughter, my niece. And we want to thank El Cid. We want to thank actual Mr. Jaguar, who is Jaguar Actual. We want to thank Sean Stokes, and most of all, want to thank my co-host Jr. Or Reality is Life, as he calls himself now, but I just always recall him as JR. Guys, we hope that you stay warm, you stay safe on this freezing winter sweep through the United States, and wherever you are in the Caribbean and UK, wherever you are in the world, in Minneapolis, we're thinking of you. And everybody stay safe, stay warm, and watch out for the ice. Okay. No joke. See you guys next week, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. EST or 11:30 UK. Bye now.
Thanks for having me. Everybody take care.
Thank you now.